Hey, welcome back to the Uncensored podcast. I'm your host, Juan, and as always, my co-host here with me. Hey, Trip. How you doing, man?
Hey, buddy. I'm good. Just been chilling, hanging out, talking to you for a little bit. Feeling great. Feeling like we need to talk about anime, though. So let's do a wrap-up of spring anime from 2020 this year. And actually, before we get into any of it, since this is always like a spoiler-heavy episode, we're talking about 4 shows. Just quick little breakdown of it. You watched Tower of God and Gleipnir.
Yes.
And I watched those as well as Wave Listen to Me and Ascendance of a Bookworm season 2 or whatever, like second cour.
The second cour, yeah.
Yeah. I liked half of the shows and I didn't really care about the other half a whole lot, to the point where I had a good time, but I don't know who I would recommend them to exactly.
I'd say out of the 2 shows that I watched this season, I enjoyed one a lot and was very excited to continue to watch it if it gets another season. And
I think it should.
Yeah, I think it should too. And the other one, that was a show. And if it gets a second season, I maybe might watch it. You know, I'm not like convinced, but I'm just like, I don't know.
It was like a roller coaster. It was like, oh yeah. And then it went like, okay, maybe. And then it was a slow decline into a steep drop.
I don't know. We'll talk about...
That's how I felt.
Yeah, we'll talk about Tower of God, obviously, when we get around to it. But yeah, I mean, let's talk about important stuff. How are you doing, man? How are you feeling? What's wrong? Why are you sad?
Feeling okay. I'm not feeling sad. I don't know what gave you that impression other than me saying that everything hurts earlier. But
it was more your emo hairdo that's covering your eye.
Oh, is that the way it is? It's just, it's just hanging out. I just need a strong cut,
Oh, I feel it.
My mom's got this homie that she is a nurse, or maybe not. I don't know. She works in pediatrics and in the delivery ward at the hospital.
And she cuts hair.
And she also has her at-home salon, but she doesn't have it open right now because she doesn't want the general public. But, people that she knows and can trust to cut their hair or whatever, she's letting do that. So my mom's trying to hook me up with her so we can make sure it's like a super safe, totally cool place. Because right now, during this whole fucking mess of an outbreak in the United States, it's... People in our little hick town don't really give a fuck.
Dude, we're doing great. Shut your fucking whore mouth. We're doing amazing.
There are a lot of people that come by our office and are all like bitchy and pissy about wearing masks, and they're not wearing them right. They always got their fucking nose popping out, or they like pull it away to talk. Like, what is wrong with you stupid people?
Okay, since we're talking about the mask, let's fucking get into it. Let's fucking do it. I didn't want to get political, but I'm on whatever side you're on. I'm on the opposite side. I'm anti-mask. How dare you infringe on my freedom? Not true, not at all. But I did have to work on Saturday. I had to work on Saturday. One of our employees recently had a baby, so she's gonna be out for the next couple months.
Oh, cool. Nice.
Yeah, and my sister asked if I could help out on the weekends and run the front with her, and it's still really. I'm going to say it's still not back to normal. We're still doing a lot of curbside, and we're doing we'll let people walk in, but then we ask them to walk out, and then we'll give the food outside, to them. Just to avoid having people crowd in the small, dining area that we have that is closed, So it's a lot of me taking orders and moving them about and stuff. Anyways, I had to wear the mask. This is the first time I've worn the mask for more than, I don't know.
Brief period. You're in the store or whatever.
The longest I worked before that was a grocery store trip, and that took maybe 20, 30 minutes. So I was there for several hours with the mask on, and it sucks. It's a little uncomfortable, especially with facial hair. So
nobody's saying it doesn't suck. Everyone's like, yeah, it's kind of shitty, but it's alternative's way worse.
Yeah. So I had facial hair at least that day when I went to work, and so when I got home from work, I was like, you know what? People are right. With facial hair, it is more uncomfortable. So I decided to shave it down a bunch. I was like, great. Now I wear the mask, and it's more comfortable. It's still not the best, but it doesn't feel as bad. But I get it. Yeah, I get it. It is an annoying thing. It isn't. It's not as comfortable as it would be without a mask. But when you think about it, in the grand scheme of things, you put on this mask for however long you are in a public space. Because when you're home, you can fucking take it off, and if you feel comfortable, if you For most person that's like super scared and you want to wear it in the car, go ahead, wear it in the car, but you don't have to if you don't want to. You know, like,
I don't know why you would, but I saw somebody in their car driving with their mask on, and I'm like, whoa.
I'm saying, like, I've seen people
cool.
do that, and people are like, yeah, because like they're like the air and this. I'm like, I'm sure it doesn't work that way, but if that makes you feel comfortable, do whatever makes you feel comfortable.
Go for it.
But yeah, like, just fucking put your mask on and shut the fuck up. I saw so many like just encounters. Like, I went to the bank, I went to the ATM machine, and a lady got stopped at the door, and he's like, you gotta wear your mask, and she just started making a huge fuss, and he's just like, look, man, like. You just put a mask on and you'll be in and out for two minutes. You know, I saw a guy like not have a mask that was like behind her, and the guy was just like, "Is it cool if like I tie like a bandana around my face for the bit?" He's just like, "Yes, I just cover your fucking face for the 10 minutes you're gonna be in the bank." You know, and I was talking to my parents about it. And my parents, they're older, you know, and they're more old school and stuff, and they're just like, they're the ones that are just like, I can't believe people don't want to wear their fucking masks. Like, just fucking put your mask on. I was like, yeah, just. And if you don't want to have to be told to wear a mask, then fucking stay home. Just shut the fuck up. It is very annoying that people can't seem to get it through their thick skull. I've been seeing people post the argument where it's just like, if the 6 feet work, why do I have to wear the mask? And if the mask works, why do I have to be 6 feet away from people? And I'm just like, that's stupid. That's like the world's dumbest logic ever.
Have you seen all the responses to it?
I have. I've seen some pretty good ones. One of my favorite was just like, yeah, if the airbags work, why wear a seatbelt? If the seatbelt works, why have an airbag? I was like, yeah, that is the same logic. Like, you're like, what you're using is fucking broken. But I always like to avoid getting too deep into like those kind of things on the internet, because it's just dumb people fighting for dumb things. Like, I watched a clip of the people, I think it was San Bernardino or whatever, but they were like in the town hall meeting, and they were like, some people were like crying, and like, or some people were like yelling, and people were like repeating like, I don't know, Bible verses and stuff to like the city council, and I was just like, Jesus, dude, like, just it's not the end of the world.
It's fucking goofy.
Yeah.
It is real goofy out there. I'm really having a fun time with seeing everyone like be whiny and bitchy about stuff. Mm-hmm. But I also wish that everyone would just get over it and do the normal safe thing. Anyways, let's stop focusing on this stupid shit, since, you know, there's a lot better stuff going on. I got a promotion, which was pretty rad. So now I'm going to be managing
Hold on. Let me praise you. Woo! Yeah. Woo! That's my boy. Got that mosh.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Very much.
You're welcome.
And then my homie Emily is going to come over, and she's going to be my assistant. So I'm pretty stoked about that.
Emily, this is for Emily. Emily also got the mosh. Good job, Emily.
It's pretty big. Pretty big moves.
I'm just saying, my brother-in-law got passed up, and I'm pretty upset with you.
I'm fucking
pretty upset too.
Very upset.
Dude,
I am so mad. I am fucking pissed.
I want to tell you that I was with him when he got the news about it, and I was like, it was just fucking great. But anyways, talk about yourself. Talk about your mosh.
Big mosh. Pretty rad. Super shitty for your brother-in-law, who is fucking crushing it right now. He's the best person in his position.
But
by far. No. I was just trying to think of by far, aside from Leandra, because she was already an assistant, she's worked the job forever. Isaiah's the newest employee.
That's the thing.
And he fucking crushes it. And they passed him up because he's too new. I'm like, but the investment, boys, like, what the fuck?
When I was talking to him about it, I was like, honestly, because like he came over because my wife's grandma was in town and she wanted to like have dinner, so we had like pizza and salad and stuff. And he was like here with his wife, his fiance. They're not married yet. And we were talking.
Never will be at this rate.
Yeah, and we were talking, and I was just like, and he just like, we're talking about maybe the promotion coming, and like because I was like, Tripp's gonna get his, and I was like, maybe Isaiah will get one. He's just like, we don't know, and everybody's kind of like excited for him and tentatively waiting, and then he just comes up to me, he's like, hey, please check this out, and then he just holds up his phone, and I think it's a text, maybe it's you in a text, and it's just like, they gave it to Kyle, and then I was just like, I just started busting laughing, and then Isaiah's just like, yeah, right. I was like, dude, that guy's fucking garbage. And
that was Leandra's reaction, because Leandra wanted the promotion too.
Yeah.
And she when it came out, I was like, well, It's in, Leandra. And I gave it to her because she got fucking screwed out of all of this thing, which sucked. Her whole deal is she stepped down before she decided that she's willing to work more because she needs to save more money because school's taken up a lot of... Anyways.
Yeah.
They didn't even interview her. They like forgot because his intention was he was going to come and say like, hey, Leandra, like, let's just chat or whatever. But he ran out of time during the day because when he came and talked to me and interviewed me, it was more of a like, hey, so this is what's going to happen. And I was like, yeah, that's cool. I kind of figured it was. But then for everything else, it wasn't very clear. So we had a lot of discussion about what's going on. And yeah, just... didn't see Isaiah getting blindsided like that. So when Leandra read the news, because it came in a fax, and I'm like, I don't want to say this out loud.
Yeah.
And she just read it. She just started laughing. She's like, okay, all right. Like, okay.
Yeah. So, him and we talked about it very briefly, and I was just like, yeah, I mean, from all I've ever heard is that guy is trash. And, I think all you can hope for Isaiah is that, he continues to be trash and he gets his ass fired. But I was like, you know what? Keep your head up. And like I think I was saying, like, honestly, like the reason you probably got passed up is he's been there a little bit longer than you have, and you're the newest guy. Even though you're great, I know that like your company does like to do like the hey, who's first, like who's been here the longest? Because I know like when you got your first promotion, your promotion to this new place, it was like between you and Leandra or whatever at a point, and it was just like, okay, Leandra has been here longer, but who's better for the job kind of thing, And then they let you go through or whatever, which was the right call.
Yeah.
But like in this one, I was just like, well, I was kind of, at least I was thinking like, well, Isaiah hasn't been there as long, but from all I've heard he's been crushing it. And all I've ever heard about Kyle is that he's fucking utter garbage. And when and then when it saw like that he got it, I was just like, I just laughed. I was like, that's fucking, I can't, how? Like he must be really good, like a really good interviewer, like he must be like really good at just being like, hey dude, like, because I don't see it, but hey man, fucking that's Kyle's for you. All Kyle's out there, all they do is ruin people's lives.
Hey, be nice, okay? We got a couple of them that we like.
We do actually, yeah. And then when we were talking about Kyle, me and him were talking, like someone chimed in like, are you talking about this person? I was like, no, we got a bunch of Kyles that we know.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, too many Kyles out there. Yeah. Do you want to hear something funny? Because you called me to let me know you got the promotion. Where do you think I was when I answered the call? Like, if you were to guess? Bathroom? No. Good guess though.
A Subway? Like a restaurant?
No. Okay. Subway, not the restaurant. Would it be more accurate to where I was?
Okay. Were you at the train station?
No.
Town? Airport?
No.
Fuck, okay. I'm out.
So what happened? Because I don't want to disclose the actual location, but my dad has a kind of like a safe that is like in a very low place. I want to say almost underground kind of bit. And
I was gonna say an almost underground safe.
And when you had called me, my dad had been like, "Hey, can you help me open this?" Because when he first got installed, like I was the one that was there to help him like set it up. But it's not like an old school like a keypad. It's an even older school like twisty thing. And I hadn't opened it in years, so I was like, "Okay, cool." And like he gave me a piece of paper like, "Hey, these are the notes you wrote for like what the combination was," and I had like doodles on it, and I was like, "Oh, I must have wrote this like 5 years ago, being like, hey, whenever you have to open this again, use these doodles to decipher how to open this." And I was like, "Yeah, I could do that." And I was there for almost an hour, just like hands and knees, just trying to crank this thing open. My finger like was hurt, like it was like raw the next day from like twisting it, and I couldn't do it. And my dad's like, "Well, I need it open." I was just like, "Well, I guess I'm going to stay here till I open it." And I just kept going at it. And when you called me, I was like, I'm maybe 40 minutes in, and I was just like, you know what? I do need a break. I'm going to talk to Trip. And I'm just like, and I answer the phone. I'm just like there on the ground. And you're like, "Hey man, I got the promotion." I'm like sweating. I'm like, "Dude, fucking awesome. Like, that's super great." It was like, and we talked for maybe like 2-3 minutes. And you're like, "All right."
Yeah,
man.
I was like, "Anyways, dude, bye."
And I was like, "All right, catch you later." And I was just like, "All right, back at it." And I finally got it. I eventually
What was the code?
No, it's not that the code was wrong. It was like, there was like a certain like pattern to how many times you turn one way and then the other way, and like there's like a little trick at the end. And I was like, so I rewrote the note. I was like, cool, if I ever have to open this in 5 more years, like this is how I'm gonna like this
It wasn't like a regular one that was like right and then leftwise and then right.
It was like that, but it was just like when you go right 5 times, and when you go left, then you go left 2 times, and it was like a weird combo thing. It was like super secure, dude. It's like ridiculous. And so then when I'm like done, I'm like, I got it open. Thank God. My dad puts whatever he's putting in there, and then he closes it. And then I'm sitting there. My mom's like, how'd you figure it out? I was like, well, after talking to Trip, I sat down and I looked at the notes, and I thought really hard, and I was just like, what is past Juan trying to say? Like, what could these notes possibly mean? And I was just like, does he mean this? And I like would try that. I was like, no, maybe he meant this. And then I finally got it, and I was just like, fucking past Juan, you fucking idiot. Why did you write this so unclearly? So like I rewrote it like in a newer way. And I'm explaining it to my mom, and I was just like, that's gonna make sense to you? I was just like, I hope so. I hope so for whenever I had to reopen the thing. So yeah, that's where it was. I was on hands and knees just like sweating bullets, and you're just like, dude, got a mosh. I was like, oh, dude, like, congrats on the mosh. And over there, I'm trying to open this safe, so if you don't mind.
That is wild. I would have never guessed that that's what you were up to at that time.
It was funny. I was just like, yeah, I'm busy, but I don't want to do what I'm doing right now. I'd rather just talk to Trip.
Huge.
Yeah.
Really, really good other work news, possibly better than the promotion. I'm not on call right now, dude. It's my second day not on call. It's been over 4 months of me having to leave for emergencies just all the time in the middle of the night, getting phone calls, all that shit. No, we're done until my boss leaves. And then I'm on call for like a week, and then Emily's on call, and we're back to that good stuff, dude.
That makes me unbelievably happy. Like, that's like so good. Like, you don't understand, Trip. I understand how you feel. Understand how I feel. I'm so sick of hearing you bitch about being on call. I'm
how bad it's been. Holy shit, dude.
Yo, but I mean, also you don't have to move, right? Was part of your motion.
No, I also don't have to move, which is huge because I didn't want to move first off because lazy.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
That's a good one.
Second, I don't need an extra room. I'm just a dude. 2 rooms is like good enough until I get a bunch of shit and like get super rich or some shit.
And you go, I need a 3rd room.
I need a 3rd room for all my extra shit. Yeah, and 3, Emily has an actual family. She's got a fiance and a kid.
Yeah.
And they could for sure use an extra bedroom, so we don't have too many 3 bedrooms here. So anyways, it's their apartment with an asterisk that says, but it's actually the manager's apartment, so if any weird shit happens, the manager gets this. So I could kick her out at any point.
Interesting. You have a lot of power.
2-bedroom. Yeah, I do. I have unlimited power right now.
That's so strange though that they were gonna make you move, and you're just like, no, why? That's dumb.
Well, okay, so they want the manager to have like one of the best apartments, just because it's part of the job, right? So 3-bedroom apartments, clearly better than 2-bedroom because you get an extra room. And
yeah,
you get
by
a
one
walk-in closet and all that shit. It's so not worth it for me, and other people eat that shit up. So if something were to happen and I were to peace out to another property or quit or whatever the fuck, get fired, then the new manager would have that apartment.
Oh, okay.
It would probably be Emily anyways.
So Emily would have to move or whatever. Like, say she didn't get the job. She'd have to go to the smaller apartment, and the new manager would go to the bigger one.
Exactly. Or if Emily pieces out, and then they decide, all right, well, you have to move to this apartment now because we want the manager in there. I would do it, but...
Not right now. Not in the middle of a global pandemic where the last thing you want to do is...
It's really dumb timing of everything. Yeah. For me... Apparently everyone else thinks it's fine to move out because we've been having people move in nonstop, and I'm like, this year? Really? Like, this is the year you're going to decide to move? What the fuck?
I kind of sympathize with that. I didn't really have a choice. I had to move or stay in the same place and be like, no. Like, I'm not going to pay this to stay another year. And it wasn't like... My old apartment was nice. It looked really nice. The area was not the best. Like, I haven't seen a single fucking bum since I moved into this new house. And I was like, yeah, that's pretty fucking sweet in my opinion.
But
And-
if you go like 2 blocks that way, then you can see a bunch of bums.
Yeah, for sure. But also like, we
we
also had like a communal garbage bin or whatever, like a giant garbage.
Yeah.
And it was like when we got there, the apartments weren't gated, and then they gated them later, and then there was a key code to get in. So on any hour of the nights, you would just hear the giant metal door slam shut, and it was just
that
like
sucks.
And the keypad didn't even work. Like anybody could, it was just always broken. So I didn't even have to enter the key. I just turned the knob and go in and out. And there was like a couple times I ran into like a homeless guy in the trash bin. So I was just like, you know what? I'm really happy. I've had one bad experience with my neighbors, and I was like one of the, not my actual neighbors, like neighbors behind us that were like partying super late. And I go, you know what? That was like, first of all, why are you partying? Like, you know, stay home. Don't fucking invite people over to, like a shit ton of people to your house to start playing beer pong. I was just like, to get drunk. But anyways, I was like, you know what? I really liked, I like where I am now. So I'm pro moving right now. Not for you though.
No, for me, there's no reason to. You mean I get to stay in the same apartments, but it's like a lot of work and anyways. Best case scenario happened. I am stoked. Everything's working out for me. Me. And here's the thing. More about me.
Oh my
okay?
God.
I don't have to work with Kyle again.
Yeah, because he got the mosh. So one other thing I mentioned that was super funny. I was like, hey man, like it's cool. You know, I was telling Isaiah, it's cool. You know, Kyle got the mosh. I was like, oh shit, that means Kyle's your boss. Oh, that sucks ass. You get to listen to this idiot.
There are no upsides for Isaiah.
No. Yeah,
there are no upsides for Ruthie.
No. That sucks. But I mean, but you know, it's not your fucking call, right? So it is what it is. I was gonna ask. I forgot. I was gonna ask you something, but I forgot. You got anything else to tell me?
Okay. No, not really. I mean, those are like the highlights of the last week. I also, you know, I've been having a good time chilling with the homies on the internet, and that's pretty much it. I don't remember. Did we finish up Avatar: The Last Airbender last time that we chatted? Was I done?
No, last time we did a thorough recap of. We went to Wikipedia and found out how the airing thing went, like how the finals.
That's right.
And you said that you had stopped right before the last 4 episodes.
Yeah, so we watched it.
In
still
HD?
one of the best in HD. One of the best finales to anything there's ever been. It was just so fucking good. And the show was amazing, and I'm excited to get into cour again. Mm-hmm. Like, I've seen this shit. I fucking love it, though. I finished 30 Rock. Good shit, you know?
Yeah.
It's done.
Can I ask you?
Yeah.
Did Avatar: The Last Airbender ever make you cry?
Yeah. What are you talking about?
When? Was it?
What do you mean?
Because I cried. I remember crying
several times.
I remember vividly crying when it was the Tales of Ba Sing Se, and it was like Iroh's bit. Like that part really fucked me when I was younger. Like I was like, oh, that fucking hurts.
Almost every bit in that episode gets me.
Yeah, that was a heavy one. And then
Momo trying to find Appa and like doing that whole search is really heartfelt.
And then I don't know if that's the same episode or the episode after it, but it's Appa getting like fucking just put through the ringer, you know? Like he's like. That one was really rough.
After it. Yeah.
I don't think I cried. I know I for sure know I cried for the Tales of Ba Sing Se.
And I cry when he gets taken. I cry when Tales of Ba Sing Se happens. Mm-hmm. I cry when you see like him getting fucking thrown about, just having a hard time.
I think maybe I cried when like Appa and Aang got back together. I was like, oh man, bro, like that's pretty good. But I think the second time around, the only thing that made me cry was Iroh's bit. Like that was the only part that like made me tear up.
No, I get super emotionally driven with a lot of shit, especially shit that I'm familiar with.
Okay.
Or can relate to in different ways. Mm-hmm. Like even the fucking the beach episode, I don't remember what it's called. Yeah. That one gets me. Like that one makes me choked up, you know? It's all of them yelling at each other on
being
the beach.
Mad,
like,
yeah.
I really like that bit a lot. I feel like it was just a very like it must have been written from people that have had that kind of perspective. It just feels real authentic and genuine. Yeah, I don't know. There are lots of parts that get me emotionally.
Did Kate cry?
I love it. I don't know. I didn't ask.
Bro, Kate, hey, let us know. Kate,
Never
did you cry? I will wait for her response.
She texted me right now. She said, yeah, I cried.
Kate's a baby.
Yeah, no, that show's it's a great time, dude. I fucking love it. I don't think, well, it's hard to remember because with The Last Airbender, I remember that and like how everything plays out a lot better than I remember how Korra kind of happens. I can remember the first season of Legend of Korra very well, but then everything past that is all just like, okay, yeah, I remember generally what happens in season 2. I remember generally what happens in season 3. I remember generally what happens in season 4. And I like them all for kind of like the story that they told and the way that it unfolded. But I don't remember the specific episodes or what happened here or there, or when Bo Lin started acting in movies and shit.
They were called Movers, and that was season 2.
Well, yeah. I remember it was season 2, but I don't remember like why it came to be. I remember Julie very well, and I named Septile after her.
It was Nuktuk, hero of the South. Yeah.
Yeah, see, you remember that shit like really well, and I don't.
Well, I think season 1 for Korra is for sure the one that I remember the most. Like, I remember watching that one and be like, cool, I got this locked down. Number 2 is when they're going to like the north and opening the spirit portal, and that's the one with Juan. And I remember that one pretty well too. Third season, I'm trying to think about it right now. I don't feel like I have the best recollection of it. I remember that.
You remember the overarching story, right?
Yeah, I remember. This is all I remember. I remember the portal is now open between the spirit world and the human world, and like there's a bunch of spirits going around. Yeah, sorry, spoilers. And their people are now airbenders. Like that's a thing.
Okay, so that's anyone that hasn't seen the show.
Okay, and here we go.
That's
season 4.
Huge fucking
here we go.
Spoiler.
Here we go.
Okay, so straight up season 4.
And then the last season, I think the only one I remember, like, and I remember season 4, where it's like there's a new crew of baddies, and they all have super dope bending. But I don't remember season 3.
That was season 3.
Was that season 3? What's season 4?
Yeah, season 4 is the Earth Kingdom.
Oh, I don't remember that at all. Then I do remember how that ends. I remember how the season, okay, so here's the end of season 4 for you guys. Here's the very ending of Legend of Korra.
Just a fucking bitch.
No, okay, so cool. So I guess I don't remember 4 the best, but I do remember the ending because it was a good ending, at least in my opinion. Earth Kingdom, I guess I got to see that one again.
See, that's how I feel about a lot of it. Like, I remember generally what happens, but I don't remember those specifics. So season 2, I'm like, yeah, it has the episode with Juan, which is fucking awesome, and it has the 2 spirits or whatever. And then season 3, I remember a lot of little moments. No idea what order they happen in. I remember the overarching story of it. I remember the dope benders.
Yeah, those baddies.
Yeah. They're super fucking cool. And then season 4 is a lot of family affairs, and it still is dealing with the spirit world, kind of being intertwined with everything now. And it's just dealing with that shit. So,
yeah. Spoilers for season.
Huge spoilers.
3 and 4
Legend of Korra. Fuck.
I'm sorry. It's not my fucking fault. People didn't watch these. That's your fault, America. Fucking.
No, it's Nickelodeon's fault.
That is true.
It's 100% Nickelodeon's fault. They didn't even know if they were going to have a second season, and the end of season 1 felt like the worst ending to anything I've ever seen.
It was
even it's way worse than Game of Thrones in my opinion.
Oh, come on.
No, because I was like, this is great. I'm ready for more. And then they were like, how about 2 minutes to wrap up all the story arcs that we have going on? I'm like, no, guys, that's not enough time. And they're like, we did it! Yeah.
They didn't know. Okay, they didn't know they're getting a season 2.
No, so they didn't.
Like, we just gotta end it, and it is very abrupt.
And I hated it too.
Yeah,
I didn't
really
want that to happen. But the story was already wrapped up, and then they decided to wrap up the other stuff that the end of the story kind of unraveled. So they're like, here's this new stuff. Also, it's already done. Don't worry, guys. There's nothing in season. So that's why going into season 2, it didn't feel like as natural as oh yeah, we're just on this little ride. We're chilling. It was a very abrupt. Hey. Anyways,
I get it. Anyway, no. So
I don't remember shit.
Our biggest deal is that season 3 and 4 of Korra were just dropped on like Nickelodeon's website. They're like, yeah, just go watch it. We're not going to air it anymore.
Season 2, they didn't even know if it was going to happen, and then they started like having a crazy schedule for it. It was like never consistent what night it was on, and then they just straight up dropped season 3 like pretty much unannounced. They were like, it's out now.
And 4, they did the same thing with 4.
Yeah.
What's funny, yeah, so people
Or
don't
maybe
even...
it was that they were going to stream it exclusively, like, weekly online. I don't remember. But season 4 was for sure just dropped, and there was no lead up. They never announced anything. It was a weird situation.
Yeah.
But because people were talking so much about how much they loved season 3 and how good it was, I was paying a lot of attention because I was out. Like, I watched a couple episodes of season 2 and was like, you know what? No, I'm just not in it right now. Maybe I'll come back to this later. And people are like, this show's fucking incredible. Season 3 is one of the best things I've seen. And it's so cool that now there's season 4 to watch. And then I watched it and I got it. And I understood that this show was fucking awesome. But it went through some real bad times.
Yeah.
The Last Airbender didn't have to go through that.
Yeah, I didn't feel that way at all. Yeah. No, I mean, it sucks. It sucks that show didn't get as much cred as it deserved. But, you know, it's too late now. Can't go back and change it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this is how it ends. This is how season 4 ends of Legend of Korra for everybody else listening.
So I beat Terraria, by the way.
Oh, good. Congrats.
It's done. It took like 50-something hours. 58, maybe. Yeah, it's good. I like it. It was not what I thought it would be. It's a good time, dude. You should play it.
Okay. Does it work on Max?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'll play it. How hard's that?
All right. I don't know.
Well,
I've never played it on Mac.
Never played on Mac either.
Huh.
I don't play video games. You know that. Come on.
No,
dog.
you don't. You don't. You probably should. Oh,
Probably
speaking
should.
of video games, I can't stop thinking about Bug Snacks.
What?
It's all that I think about.
What is
Bug
that?
Snacks, dude. It is a game coming out made by the Octodad Dadliest Catch team, which is another incredible game. And Bug Snacks was announced at the PlayStation 5 like video game reveal thing. And they had a trailer that started out, and I didn't know what I was in for. I didn't know if I was going to like it. It's a little strawberry. It sprouts some little leggies and some eyes, and it starts crawling around. This freaky, like, sea otter type thing, like a saber-toothed sea otter. I don't know what the fuck it was. It's talking about how Bug Snacks are so cool, and look at this little cutie.
Would you call it a walrus?
Crawling. Yeah, maybe it's a walrus. Yeah, I can see that. It was just, like, very furry.
Okay.
So that's why I got kind of that otter impression. Anyways. Yeah, so she's talking about Bug Snacks, and then the little one comes by, and it's like a little hamburger and french fries type centipede thing, and she grabs it and eats it, and then her arm turns into a curly fry, and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck this game is. She's talking about how great bugs are and Bug Snacks and shit. And then it starts playing this theme song, and I'm like, oh fuck, that's Cara Caro Bonito. I know that voice anywhere. That is... So I was losing my mind. Theme song's been stuck in my head nonstop because it's just such a catchy, fun, childish Cara Caro Bonito tune. I loved it. Yeah, and then the game kind of ends, or the trailer for the game kind of ends in a like darker, weird way where this dude is like, oh yeah, I just got like weenie arms, little hot dog arms, and he can't grab anything. He's losing stuff. And then they get chased off of the screen by this like monster that's entirely made out of snacks. And who knows if somebody ate all the snacks and turned into this monster or what? I don't know what the point of the game is. I know nothing about it other than everything is food and it looks freaky, and I don't know, man. Talking about Bud Snacks. So every fucking thing that I hear, I think talking about whatever snacks, and I'll just do whatever. Like talking about pod snacks, and like we're talking about our podcast, you know, we're having a good time.
Yeah, I just watched it.
Yeah. Fantastic.
It's weird looking.
Song. Oh, the song's amazing. It's incredible.
I'm excited that you're excited for a game, so that's good.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be a whatever time. Hopefully good. Hopefully not bad.
Yeah.
It's got a dope song. I like the Octodad folk. Whatever. So yeah, I've been thinking a lot about Bug Snacks. Played some Animal Crossing for the first time in a million years. I keep playing it for the first time in a million years. But this time, nobody else that I know is playing it participated in the in-game event. They had a bug off where you just go and catch bugs for a while, and you get some rewards from the bug guy. And I wanted to get a cool bug Hawaiian shirt, so I did. And I'm fucking proud of doing it. But I also was at work, and it was a slow day. And I was like, all right, I'll do this for a little bit. Did it for a little bit. Was like, I don't want to do this anymore. So I put it down. And then 20 minutes went by and I'm like, I don't want to work though. So I kept playing the game and I got what I was looking for.
I mean, the game's dead. No one plays it anymore. Come on, Trip.
You know, they're adding diving. They're adding swimming in the ocean. I don't know if you saw that.
They
should
should
catch
have
some sea anemones.
They should add like a battle royale feature. That will get the kids in.
It's always what gets the kids in. Hey, speaking of shit that you would never expect, Pokemon has a MOBA that's coming out. Nobody's supporting it right now. MOBA is League of Legends type shit. Dota, League of Legends, Smite, that kind of stuff.
What's the acronym again? MOBA means
Massive Online Battle Agenda. I don't know.
I'll look it up. But
I don't remember.
And no one's supporting it. Why?
Are you
it's
gonna it's a Chinese company that's done a lot of shady shit.
Okay, let's see.
MOBA
made it. Pokemon.
It's not like a Pokemon made game. It's like a licensed Pokemon game. The same people that are making the new Diablo phone game or whatever that everyone got pissed about.
No, that everybody's excited for.
Oh yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, Tencent is the name of the company.
Tencent. Okay.
Yeah.
I've heard about this. I've heard about these Tencent people. They're fucking massive, right? And they're like huge in China or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. People, I've heard. It's because back even when I was in college, people were talking about them and just fucking shitting on them like crazy. Like they're like the devil. I don't even know. Yeah.
So, anyways, Pokemon has been taken over by the devil. A lot of people are pissed because new Pokemon Snap was announced and people lost their goddamn minds and they were like, by the way, in a week we're gonna have another special Pokemon announcement. And a lot of people that follow the trends of like how Pokemon does announcements and stuff and followed like the Pokemon just like registered this as a trademark or whatever, all that shit, they were like, this is probably going to be that mobile game that nobody really knows who's doing it yet, but they think it's going to be this person. And it wound up being that. And it wound up being a MOBA, so a mobile MOBA made by this Chinese company that like nobody in the US likes that knows the company. If you don't know the company, you're still probably going to enjoy the game for what it is. But that got announced and everyone was like, we thought it was going to be a new goddamn Pokemon game and not this fucking stupid phone bullshit. Because during that new Pokemon Snap announcement, which for a lot of people, that's a fucking huge announcement that there's a new Pokemon Snap. But they also included like this little other game that's a puzzle game and this app that makes kids like to have a fun time brushing their teeth or whatever. Just like weird little Pokemon things. This for sure could have been a part of that announcement. And people have been like, oh yeah, cool. And if instead they had the Pokemon Snap announcement for the one that the mobile game got, it would have been a completely different received kind of thing. Like people lost their minds at that. But then if they were like, oh shit, what's the second one going to be? The build up for it would have been way crazier because expectations were pretty low for that first announcement. And they were like, holy shit, they just dropped whatever the fuck this is. Pokemon Snap. Yeah.
When you say announce a new game, you don't mean like announce a new Pokemon game because they just made Sword and Shield, right? Like it's going to be at least a couple more years before another one comes out, right?
Well, okay, so there are different trends with Pokemon. For a while, it was every year there was a new Pokemon game. It was Pokemon Red and Blue, and then the next year, Pokemon Yellow. And then Gold and Silver came out, and then Crystal, and then Ruby Sapphire, and Emerald, Diamond Pearl, Platinum.
So the third one, like the third one that comes in after the pair, right?
Exactly. So they thought it was going to be whatever Sword and Shield's extra thing would be, which they already kind of said they wouldn't do. Or most people thought it was going to be a 4th generation Pokemon remake game.
Okay.
Which would make sense because they do that every like several years. They'll be like, okay, so we just got our Alpha, Omega, Ruby, Sapphire, right? We got Auraz.
This
on
is
the 3DS.
Kind of like when they did like Fire Leaf. No, was it Green?
Fire Red Leaf Green.
Fire Red. Yeah, right. Like that, right? When they remake it. Okay.
So they did that, and they did Soul Silver, Heart Gold, and then they did Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire.
Okay.
Now they are supposed to do whatever the fuck else is what people were assuming. And then they got really disappointed when it wasn't that. But people would have lost their minds if it was Pokemon Snap being announced instead of a mobile game, you know?
Yeah, I mean, well, I do play mobile games. I'm not gonna lie, that's like one thing I do.
Yeah.
Play. So maybe I'm what I'm on the bandwagon. I'm super stoked. Tencent has never done me wrong.
You're starting the bandwagon is what you're saying.
Everybody jump on the wagon.
Yeah, I want to say that that's everything that I've done. New Borderlands downloadable content just came out. It's pretty good. I mean, Borderlands 3, poorly optimized game, buggy, slow, lots of issues that I have with it.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing that they always deliver on is good writing and jokes that fit like what I enjoy for the Borderlands world. So there are some fun things, and I've been having a blast with it. There's a guy named Soapy Steve, and I'm like, who the fuck is this Soapy Steve? And then you find like an audio log where he's talking to like Bathing Bill or whatever the fuck his name is, like Bath Bill. Anyways, they're having a chat. Bloody Bill. I don't fucking know what his name was. Anyways, they're having a chat about one of them's talking about how he loves killing people, and he's like, yeah, well, my name's Soapy Steve, and they called me that because, you know, I was killing people, and then I started rendering their fat down into soap and bathing with them. So I'm just bathing with people, and they're like bonded because they're both evil, but one of them has a super silly name. They're like, oh no, that name's Kick Ass. And they're just bonding over this in the stupidest way. And then you have this whole like weird encounter with him where you get a little question. He's like, yeah, this guy, like, he's been so mean and torturing people and killing them, and we got to get revenge. And you go into this bathhouse, and oh, by the way, the theme of this whole expansion is like a classic Western theme meets modern Japan. So you're going to all these like Japanese saloons and bathhouses, but it's in the Wild West. So they're like, what can I do for you, Tomodachi? Instead of like partner. It's hella funny. So, yeah, you get to Soapy Steve, and he's chilling in his bath. He's having a good time. The door's closed, but you hear him. He's bathing in there, having a good time. And the guy that's like, yeah, let's fucking get revenge. Why don't we go and get a bunch of soap and pump it into the room? He's like, oh, yeah, this is nice. Oh, let's heat up the water for him. Ooh, that's so nice and steamy. Like, let's get some bath salts in there. He's like, oh my gosh, I just feel so refurbished and refreshed. And you keep doing stuff, and eventually you add bubbles. And it's too many bubbles.
Does he drown?
No, he just goes out, and you know, you have a little bubble fight.
Okay.
And then for beating the quest, you get a bubble gun. So you get a gun that shoots these nuclear bubbles. It's fucking great. And they kind of like drift up into the sky. So you're like, bam, like big powerful shot. So it like lobs out, and then it kind of like floats up as a bubble. It's great. Yeah, so the game's been a lot of fun. Been having a blast with that. I think that's mostly what I've been doing, man.
Cool.
That's my life.
You living it, dude. I'm happy for you.
Always. I want to know about what you've been doing. I just wanted to tell you a lot about myself.
I feel like my shit isn't as exciting. I mean, like, you got a mosh. I did not get a mosh.
Like, I need to have a mosh to have a good week, you know?
Like I write down, I usually, like I was telling you, like I do like bullet points of like, what are my topics? Like my first bullet point was like, I got all my posters up. So like,
yeah, you did.
I moved in, got my posters up. I got some blank spots. That means there's room for more posters. And I always had this blank spot in front of my site, I guess, like on the wall that's in front of me, you know, behind my computer. Yeah. And Sierra's like, what are you gonna put there? And I was like, I don't know, but I want to put like a really good poster there. That's just on our old place. And so when I was rearranging stuff, I just left the blank spot there again. And I go, I guess I'm just gonna leave the blank spot for when I get that really bomb poster that's supposed to go there. But I just can't decide what goes there.
It's gonna be like a super Mexican themed All Might.
I really like the posters I have in front of me. Like I have like my Breaking Bad poster. I got this Yu-Gi-Oh poster that's really sick. I got a Mob Psycho. I got Avatar: The Last Airbender, Steven, Attack on Titan, Naruto. Like they're like posters that like I like. But I don't know, like that blank spot just always looking at me, and I've become accustomed to it. I'm like, yeah, that's where that nothing goes there yet kind of thing. Anyways, posters are up, super stoked because that just means it means like we're another step or like a little bit further into like
feels more organized. It feels like it's yours. It's
like it's home. Yeah, as opposed to like the posters being on the ground, being like, gotta get these fuckers up, you know. So it feels good. It just feels good because I have, these 2 weeks off. Well, 1 week has now passed. I have one more week until like school starts again with me. So like it's been really chill. Like I haven't been doing like crazy stuff, but just like little things where I'm just like, oh, nice. I can kind of do this and I don't have to worry about it. I have time for it. So I got a haircut finally.
Yeah, and it looks suave as hell.
Thanks, Doug. I've been really wanting one for a while now because like
True.
I had long hair. I think before I got married. I think it was before I got married. Maybe before even I got engaged. Yeah, I think I cut it, and then that year I got engaged. But I'd had it for like a couple years, and I was like, this is cool because I've always wanted long hair. And then I got really sick of it, and I was like, you know what, this shit sucks ass. Like it's just, it's all in the way.
It's got ups, it's got downs. I got a little bit too much right now, so I'm feeling that like it's in the way kind of vibes. But like, I don't know, man. I just want to look like a fucking cool guy with long hair that could pull it off, and it's never gonna happen. That's the issue. You get tired of it before it can happen.
Yeah, no, you do fucking get burnt out. Like since quarantine started, I hadn't got a haircut, and then I was like, well, I'm just gonna let my hair go and see what happens. And so I just kind of got pretty long by my standards. Now that I'm used to having my hair cut again, and then like I was like, I did the same thing with my facial hair. I was like, I'm just gonna fucking let it go because I'm not seeing anybody right now, and I don't have to be like presentable or whatever. And Sierra would always be like, I can cut your hair, because I kept like complaining about it, and I was like, no, I'll just wait till I get.
It's also an experiment, okay?
Yeah. So it was cool. My barber finally opened up, and like she had let people know that like, hey, there are people who are opening up or like doing like haircuts from home and stuff like that. She's like, I'm not with that. Like I'm going to be following whatever the county guidelines are to be as safe as possible. And so when she finally opened up, she's like, hey, these are the things where, you take your temperature when you come in. You have to wear your mask the whole time. We're no longer like offering any facial like treatments. It's all just haircuts. They used to like offer me drinks to be like, hey, do you want like a beer or something? Like, we're not going to be doing that. I was like, that's fair. Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
So it was pretty cool. Like I waited in my car, and then like when I got there, she like, a little before, she's like, hey, text us when you're here. So I texted her, and then she's like, okay, cool, we're ready to have you, because she takes time to sanitize after her last client. And it's like a really small space, so it's not like there's like it's like her chair and then one other person's chair. I think it's like her husband's chair, like they haircut together. Like, and I was just like, it was nice. It was cool to feel a little bit normal and get like do something I used to do before. Like, shit was closed, and it was nice to talk to her. I hadn't seen her in a while. She cut my hair, didn't do my face. I was hoping she could, but I was just like, right, we're not doing facial stuff. That's fine. I'll do it myself. And I cut it that after Saturday when I was talking about my mask shit. Was like, yeah, man, let's fucking get rid of this. Let's just fucking trim it all down. So
hell yeah,
that's good. Let's see. Friday, Sierra's grandma came over, and she like brought pizza and salad stuff, and she also had her daughter, which is Sierra's aunt, right, and then their two kids or whatever, and we're just kind of catching up. We haven't seen each other. Sierra's grandma hadn't met Sierra's newest niece, like she hadn't met Violet yet, so she was like excited to come see her and stuff like that. So it was nice. It was fine, like having people over, because like we were right at a point where like there's no boxes just like laying around, so like everything's presentable. Like our garage is like a mess. Like there's just like
but
still
that's
a bunch of shit. Yeah. So it was okay. And our AC had been fixed by that point, so I wasn't worried about that anymore. And everybody's just having a good time. But Sierra's cousin, who is, I want to say he's not even like 5 years old. He's younger than that, maybe like 4 or something. He has Down syndrome. And I've I've had experience with people with Down syndrome in the past. Like I know like how to talk to them. Usually they're just kind of, especially as a kid, like he's just doing kid stuff. It's like, okay, cool. And he was really nice. He was just like pulling me around, like, hey, come look at this and come look at that. And like, he'd like play peekaboo. And I was like, oh, it was a really good time. I really like enjoyed him. Edward was like a good kid. And my biggest fear was like, oh, I hope he doesn't have like issues with dogs, because Vela was around. But he loved like petting her, and like Vela loved licking him. I was like, okay, good. They're friends and stuff. So that was good. It was good seeing him. What happened that was not that great was we have the extra room upstairs, and Sierra said that she told her nieces like, hey, you can use this as a playroom. Like, you guys can bring your toys here and like just run amok, because there's nothing really in it, And there's like a couple mattresses there that are just like laying there that we haven't set up the guest bed or anything. And they're like, yeah, you can play on the mattress, just be careful. It's like on the floor or whatever.
Yeah.
They're all the kids are playing upstairs, and then they come downstairs, and I'm just told like, hey, Edward locked himself in the room, and I was like, what? And so then I'm like, okay, well then I'm gonna go upstairs and take care of this. And I go upstairs, and wouldn't you know it, the guest room is locked, and Edward is in there. And I was like, how? How did this happen? And Sarah, she was really cool about it. She's like very patient. She's like, it's okay. Well, we'll get him out. Don't worry about it, bud. So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to go get my tools and see if I can fucking open this door. And, the girls are running around and we're like,
I'm confused.
Here's the thing. So it's like, then Sarah asked, like, who locked the door? Because Edward is a very smart kid. He does have Down syndrome. He doesn't know how to use door locks. That's one thing like that she's very adamant about. She's like, yeah, he can open a sliding glass door, but he can't open a door lock. Like, that's something he's out of his wheelhouse. And she's like, he was telling me, like, maybe one day he'll learn how to do it, and, maybe like in a couple years. He's like, and she's afraid for when that happens, because like maybe he'll just leave out the front door, It's like, but right now, as it stands, he can't do that. Like, that's just not something he can do. So somebody else must have done it. So they're like asking the girls, like, hey, who locked the door? And none of them are like, oh, we don't know, it was Edward. It's like, it wasn't Edward. Which one of you did it? And there's like, none of them fessed up to it. It's like, well, this is fucking shitty. So it's like, okay, cool. Girls, go downstairs. Let me try to open this door. And I couldn't get it. Like, I don't know. Like, usually, like, the doors I used to open, they usually had like the little hole bit, and you kind of put like the like key bit in it and you twist it. You know what I'm talking about? Like, and it didn't have that. It had like a weird, like, fake turny knob for a key, but it wasn't. I was like, I couldn't get it to turn. I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to call like the fire department. Like, I know I can open this door. I just don't want to open the door the way I'm going to have to. And, I was like, all right, let me try this. I tried a couple other things. Like, it's like, I can't fucking do it. And I could tell at this point, like, Sarah was like getting a little more nervous. I was like, all right, Sarah's like, I'll knock the door down. Like, don't worry about it. Like, I'll hit it. Like, can you just check to see if like Edward's not in front of the door? Cause like, I don't want to like hit the door and it swing open and hit him. And she looks like down the crawl space, and he's like, oh no, he's on like the mattress at the end of the room. I was like, okay, well, here I go. It only took one, shoulder check, and the door swung open. And I was like, oh, well, that fucking sucked. And, we got the kid out. The door, my concern was that the door frame would get broken. Like, they would,
yeah, that's normally what happens with like reinforced doors.
Yeah.
But
it didn't. No, that didn't happen. What ended up happening was the door cracked, like down the center of the door. Like, if you open it, it cracked, and like it works. I can open and close the door. But I was just glad the door frame didn't get fucked. It's like, okay, cool. Door frame's not fucked. The door is fucked a little bit. Now I can't lock the door even if I wanted to. Like, I close the door, and like if you try to lock it, it just won't lock. And I go, okay, well, whatever. Like, I'm not gonna stress about that because I don't even use this room right now. And if the girls do come over again and they want to fucking run amok, they can't lock themselves in the room because the door doesn't work anymore because they smashed it. And, me and Sarah talked about it afterwards. Sarah didn't even know this was happening because she was busy dealing with other stuff. I was like, yeah, I had to knock the door down. It sucked. But, I wasn't going to leave Edward in there, by himself. I don't know how long it would have lasted before he started freaking out. So that sucked. And then Isaiah had the fucking gall to be like, yeah, man, this is how you open the door after the fact. I was like, what? It's like, I tried that. He's like, it didn't work. He's like, oh, he's like, well, this is how you do it. And he showed me, like, he like told me, and I was like, well, fuck, that would have been nice to know an hour ago, but it's not Isaiah's fault. He wasn't like right there when this was happening. He was somewhere else doing something else, and I was like, I don't know how long I can wait. I'm just going to open this door. So I did. So yeah, that sucked, but it's okay. Edward's fine.
I'm glad he's good. I'm glad it all worked out.
Yeah.
I feel bad because doors are hella expensive.
Yeah.
For companies to replace and get the exact same ones or whatever.
Yeah, so, should be fun.
But yeah, man, call me next time. I don't know if you know this. I have a pretty big knowledge about like regular ass apartment shit.
Yeah. Regular
ass home living shit. That's my job.
I don't know the big deal, man. I got the door open. What's the big deal? Kids out. Everything's okay.
It's some money. It's a good amount of cash, dude.
Nah, don't worry about it. It's fine. So did that. We bought a fridge. We had to go to Lowe's. I had to go to Lowe's because I finally installed the bidet that you had given us last December, and I ran out of plumber's tape, or at least the amount of plumber's tape that they gave me. I needed more because I had sprung a leak or whatever. And I was talking to you about it, and you said, "Yeah, get some more plumber's tape." It's like, all right, cool. So I went and bought plumber's tape, and while we were there, me and Sierra had been talking about getting a new fridge because the fridge that's here is fine. It's smaller than our last fridge, but it is older and it makes noises and it's like really loud. And it's not that it's annoying. It's just like, I don't want to have to put up with it. Like there's times where like her and I just hanging out downstairs, minding our own business, like not talking. And then you just hear the fucking motor go, and a fridge works. I can't even complain I don't even want to complain about it to management because it's like, the fridge is fine. Everything's okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't do shit for you.
Yeah. It's just
what our company
old.
provides. It sucks.
Yeah. It's just old and it's loud. So I was like, okay, cool. Let's just buy our own fridge. So while we were there getting pumped, we were like, hey, you want to look at the fridges? And we're like, yeah, sure. Let's go fucking check out the fridges. And it was like, they're doing like at Lowe's, they're like 4th of July sale stuff, you know? So things were like at a like discounted price. Like, okay, cool. So we looked around. We found one that we liked. It was fun shopping for fridges because me and Sierra just like really like, I don't know about this. You know, like just being very nitpicky about. I'd never bought a fridge before, you know.
I mean, it's a big purchase. You should be nitpicky about shit, you know.
There was like fridges that had like, and I was joking, like we gotta get one of those fridges that have like a screen on the front, you know, like to fucking play TV off of it, you know, like tablets. And then we saw some of those; those were fun to play with. And there's the fridges that had like glass windows so you could see inside. I was just like, I'm like, oh, that's super cool. But those are like ridiculously expensive. I was like, I'm not gonna drop like 3 G's for a fridge. Like that's
you're buying a regular ass fridge.
Yeah,
just like so the rest of us.
We bought a fridge, and it was like it's nice. It's like a Samsung, and it has an ice dispenser, which is like cool. Mine doesn't have one, and even the last apartment I had didn't have an ice dispenser, and and a water dispenser, and it's like big. And like it's like a good, and like it's like way deeper than our. I'm like, yeah, this feels cool, and it was at a good price. So we ordered it, and they're like, cool. I was like, oh, fuck, I didn't expect to buy a fridge today. I was kind of hoping just to get this plumber's tape and get the fuck out of here. Like now we got to set up like a delivery or like
going in for a pretty cheap purchase, and then winding up making a couple thou.
Yeah, and then I was like, I don't know if I think I'll get a truck to pick it up today. And like when we were talking, the guy's like, yeah, that one's technically out of stock. I can order it for you. It'll come, like the 3rd week of July. I'm like, that's fucking awesome. That's great. Like, yeah, let's do that because like I still have to move the fridge I have somewhere else, which would be in the garage, right? And the garage is still full. I was like, that's great, man. It was like, absolutely. And he's like, deliver that whenever it gets here in mid to late July. And, Sarah and I were talking about it. And like, she felt kind of silly. She's like, I'm super excited for this new fridge. I'm like, yeah, me too. Like, and I was like, don't feel weird about it. I talked to Trip about it earlier about how I was super pumped about my new washing machine and dryer at the new apartment. Like something about getting older. You're just like, yeah, this appliance is pretty dope, dude. Like I can't wait to fucking put some meat in that freezer and let it freeze. It's going to be multiple bennies. So yeah. So it's funny, like, that we're stoked for like the fridge whenever it gets here.
Hell yeah, dude. I am way into that.
Oh, yeah. Anyways, I got the bidet installed after getting the plumber's tape. Plumber taped it the fuck up. And then that night, I was like, oh, nice, it worked. Like, I tested it. Like, not on myself. Like,
no, you just turned it on.
I squirted it. Yeah, like, okay, it squirts water, like, it looks like there's no leaks. I was like, I'm not really in the, I don't really, I'm like, my head is like, I don't really got to poop right now. So I don't really want to,
you don't have to use it.
Yeah. And I was like, I don't want to just like squirt myself with water if I don't really need it. I was like, I guess I'll use it tomorrow. And it was also really late. And my biggest concern for myself was, man, I hope it's not too cold, like freezing cold, because
it'd be that cold.
Because the bidet got us, because by the way, thank you for the bidet. There are some bidets that like are like super fancy and like you can control the water temperature and stuff.
You have to hook it up to your water, in a different way. You have to like
or have like heated
hot
seats.
Water lines.
Or like I've used a bidet before that had like a blower, so it would dry you after. It was like I was like super expensive. Like this, our bidet,
you don't need that fancy shit.
Yeah, our bidet like shoots you with water, and it also has like a self cleaning feature, which is pretty cool. It's like, all right, dope. Like that is all that I really need. But I was like, my biggest fear is like, God, I just don't want it to be too cold. And it was super late. I was like, nah, it's not. First of all, it's not worth it. Don't got to poop. Second of all, I'm not just gonna shoot myself with water, especially if it's cold. It's like I don't want to get like cold butthole before I go to bed. So I was like, I'll just use it tomorrow. Like that was my thing. Like I'll just use the beta tomorrow. Like because every morning I go to the bathroom, it's like that's when I'll do it. Like I for sure know I will actually need it. And so I wake up and I'm just like, okay, today's the day. And I was just like, oh man, I hope it's not too cold. And my another concern was like, man, I hope the plumber tape held up, and I hope I don't just walk into the bathroom and just be like seeping with water, But it was all fine. I used the bidet, and it wasn't that cold. I was like, oh nice, like it's like a temperature that I was like, it's not warm.
Like no.
it's not like it's not hot, but it's not like cold, freezing. It's like, okay, yeah, that's cold water, but it feels good.
And you realize, if you put your hand in that, you wouldn't be like, oh, fuck. You would be like, this is fine. Who cares?
Yeah, it's just water.
It's like
so
nothing.
I was like, I was like, okay, dope. So I was like super stoked. And we were saying before, like that I had been baptized, with the bidet.
Yeah.
It's not baptism because I've done it before. It is just me returning to church. That's what I was saying. Like I'm going back to church. It feels like feels good, and it's nice. Like we were talking about how like why we don't understand why a lot of Americans are just so opposed to using the bidet, and we're like,
I don't fucking get it.
It's a cultural thing. I think it's something like where they don't like change. It's very efficient, and I was trying to explain. Sierra hadn't used it yet, and she's like, I don't know if she is going to use it, but I was trying to explain to her like. This is, because she doesn't like, how does it work? I'm like, you just kind of turn the knob, you sit on it, and then.
You just clean yourself, dog. Yeah. You just blast some water. You feel like you're good. Who cares?
Yeah, I'm like you do your business, you flush the toilet, you turn the machine off, you turn it off, you hang out, you pat yourself dry, you're done. And she's hesitant. And I was like, yeah, I'm like, hey, like, if you don't ever want to use it, that is totally fine. Like, it's there.
New experiences, home.
Yeah,
she's all about new experiences. I don't know what her problem is.
I was like, I'm not gonna force you to shoot butt up your hole if you don't want to. But like, hey, I was like, give it a shot. It's like, it feels nice, and like it actually makes me feel very clean. Like I'm like, cool. I feel like when I'm done
does its job, man.
Nice. I feel not dirty. So
hell yeah.
So I'm glad
the goal, man.
Yeah, I'm glad we ended
good
our
hygiene.
Or hey, what are you up to be like, yeah, I'm shooting fucking water up my ass.
And it's nice.
Yeah.
Eliza's going to be proud.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say.
For sure. Have you been watching any anime that isn't the anime for the show?
Yes.
Okay, I have also, so go ahead, you first.
Non Biori. Just, I was having kind of a shitty time. I wasn't feeling great. Like, what if I just watched some country girls having a super fun time together, doing who cares, whatever. And I had a great time. I loved it. I laughed.
Was it season 2?
That's it. Yeah, season 2. Yeah.
Nice. That's just life in the country.
It's so fun.
That's good,
and
man.
One of my favorite things, the episode I watched, or one of the episodes I watched, the youngest girl wants to play like dolls or whatever to pass some time. So she goes over to an older one. She's like, yeah, let's play some dolls, pass time. She's like, all right, that's fine. Okay, cool. And she runs off, brings back a couple of dolls. One of them is this giant fucking, like, half the size of her weird floppy monster doll. And the other one is this little, like, freaky doll thing. She's like, all right, this small one's the dad and the big one's the daughter. And she's like, why isn't it the other way? Because, it's huge and it's small. And she's like, yeah, that would make more sense, but I already said it was the other way, and we can't change it now. We just can't change it. And I was like, yeah, that's something little kids do. They freak out over
yeah, those are
like,
the rules.
Well, I said it that way, and that's how we have to play. And you're not playing right. You're like, okay, kid.
I hate when I get told that I'm not playing right when I do with like younger kids, because I was gonna be like, yo, dude, fuck you. I play the way I want to play. But my nephew hit me with that once. He's like, you're not playing it right. I was like, I just want to be like, you fucking, how dare you tell me how to play?
It's like, then I'll play alone, and then you take all the toys.
Then you can just sit here and cry.
Yeah, that was some fucking real shit. I love it. It was funny as hell. That's it.
Oh, cool. Yeah, for sure. I decided to be like very nostalgic. And I think I talked about this, I don't know, at least a couple years ago, that for a long time I thought that the first anime I watched was Ultimate Muscle. And I think that has some remnants of truth, that yes, it is one of the earliest anime shows I watched. It's around the time of
the first one that like really made an impact.
Yeah, and around the time of like fighting food on worms, like this is weird shit, and I don't know what it is, and I didn't find out till later, like, oh, that's anime. Like I was like, oh, that makes sense, and then I became a huge fan of anime. But that's why like Ultimate Muscle always has like a nice spot in my heart. But I remember talking about this. I don't know if you recall it, but a couple years ago, I discovered that there was this show, an anime from the 80s that was based on the Adventures of Tom Sawyer.
Yeah, we did talk about this.
And then when I was younger, I think it must have been a VHS. My mom bought a VHS, and I must have been at like the thrift store or like the Salvation Army or something, because I played. She gave us, and I played the fuck out of this VHS, and it was. Again, at least at the time, I thought it was just a movie of this cartoon, Tom Sawyer, and it wasn't until I became older, I was like, oh shit, this is a TV show, and what I watched was just a collection of episodes together, and it tells a pretty cohesive story. Like the first few episodes or sections of it, the way it's edited at least is like, oh, this is just having him an adventure. Like there's the classic, like the first episode where like you find out who he is, he's going to school. The second episode is like him not wanting to do his chores and painting the fence, and then the latter half is them discovering treasure, going to the caverns. Like it's an actual like story, and it's because those are like the last 4 episodes of like the 4th season, and the other front bits were just like episodes within like the first 3 seasons. And I don't know what it was. I just decided like, you know what? I know I saw that this was on Prime. I want to watch it, and so I started watching it. And it just felt really good. Like it was like very nostalgic.
It was on Prime. Fuck,
yeah, it's on Amazon Prime. All 4 seasons, like 49 episodes, and I've made it through. I think I just started season 3, so I've watched like
what?
Yeah, so I've watched like
let's see, you're going through some fucking wild times. Holy
and
shit.
it's not like it's amazing. Like obviously the animation is very fucking like simple because it's like super old, and some of the like drawings are like just not good. Like there's a bunch of wonky eyes, like people just looking in weird directions, and the stories are very like they're very simple. It's very like, hey, Tom Sawyer needs to do this, okay, and he's the narrator, so he's narrating shit, and episodes end at like very weird points where it's like a story is like progressing and stuff is just happening, and then it goes, and then all of a sudden like it just cuts to black, and it's like, and you hear these are the adventures of Tom Sawyer, and it's like the end credits are like. Is that where the episode ended? It was super wild. It was like, it's very reminiscent of like old, at least not super old, but like colored old that, and it's now in color Astro Boy, or like old and like that's colored like Kimba the White Lion, like that era of anime that is somehow nostalgic, even though it wasn't.
It's older. This one's newer than that. Yeah. The company that made them, I've been looking them up right now. Mm-hmm. The company that made the Adventures of Tom Sawyer anime also did the first run of Hunter x Hunter.
Yeah. Okay.
Magical Circle, Guru.
The new one?
No, the old one.
The old one. Okay.
The classic, The
original one. Okay.
Shaman King special episodes.
Ooh.
Yeah. What the fuck is the name of that? Chinese Cooking Kid? What's the
Chinese Cooking? The first one, not the not
the remake. Yeah,
Chinese Cooking
not the sequel remake thing. Yeah. So Chinese Cooking Kid.
Yeah, Master Chef China. Yeah.
What the fuck is it called? It's called Cooking Master Boy. Whatever.
What's the name of the studio?
Nippon Animation. So Japan Animation, just the classic shit. But this one's probably most important. Les Miserables Shoujo cassette.
Whoa, the Shoujo cassette. Oh man,
that's fucking wild. So I was just scrolling through this, being like, I wonder if they made that Thumbelina that I liked, and then and you're like whoa, just finding all this weird shit.
Yeah, so it's like I don't know, man. I wouldn't, obviously, if I'm giving it like an honest review, like I wouldn't recommend it to people. I wouldn't be like, hey, it's a good show. Go watch The Adventures of Tom Sawyer. All 4 seasons are on Amazon Prime. Like I wouldn't do that.
But did you know that Nippon Animation also made a Jungle Book anime?
Oh, cool. Yeah, that makes sense. I think maybe their shtick was like making those like old shows that like old
Well, that's why I thought maybe it would be Thumbelina.
Yeah. But like I feel like this is a show that whenever I have children, I'd be so down to just kind of put it on and be like, you guys don't know what quality is, and I get a kick out of this. Come watch the show. And I can't say that I've read Huckleberry Finn, which is like the more popular, the sequel to the Tom Sawyer, which is written by Mark Twain. I don't think I've read Huckleberry Finn. I know that it was part of like the banned book list because it uses the N-word a lot. So it is problematic in that sense, because it is an older book. They do, at least I feel like they do a good job of like representing Black people in this time period. Like they never say the N-word, and the people there, like the Black people in the show, they're like working hands, or they're like, the handyman or like the cooking lady, and like it feels like it's okay. I'm not going to be like, hey, I'm not going to get blasted on social media and be like, wow, Juan's a racist for liking this old show that depicts, you know, what it was like to be African American in this era that was then made in 1980 or whatever. So yeah, it only lasted for a year because I also looked into like the Wikipedia. Like it only aired for like about a year, I think, but it's like 49 episodes, and I was like, wow, this is so. I'm super stoked to finish it because so far I've been able to catch episodes where it's like, okay, that was in the movie and that was in the movie, but I was like, where's this last end bit? And it's literally like the last 4 episodes, the 3 before the last is the part that I've seen in the movie. So there's one episode after the movie that I haven't seen that is the last episode of Tom Sawyer. So I'm just like, oh, dude, I'm so fucking juiced to find out what happens. Because there's a bit where I'm just like, I very vividly remember being like, they're going they're taking a boat ride to like an island to have like their camp. It's like a school festival or whatever. Okay, and where they're having like kite races and like all this stuff, and there's caverns or whatever. And I remember there's a point where it's just like, they go, yeah, Sid wasn't able to go with us. And then there's a shot of like Sid like in his bed. He's just like, I'm sick, you know? And I was just like, as a child, I go, who the fuck is Sid? Like I just didn't know who he was. And for some reason, it just, as a child, I never caught the fact that Sid is Tom Sawyer's younger brother. I just thought he was just an annoying kid. And I feel like the movie didn't do a good job of having Sid in the actual show, like in the movie. It's like Sid is very clearly in episode 1, and then whatever episodes they showed after that, Sid isn't a part of it. And just to have him be in the last 3 episodes of him being like, Sid can't come. And I go, and as a kid, I was like, who the fuck is Sid? I don't know who the fuck he is.
Scrappy-Doo shit where if you just catch an episode of Scooby-Doo, then this little fucker is like talking. And you're like, why can this dog talk?
Who the fuck's his dog? Yeah.
You have no fucking clue. But then, when you actually see the whole thing, you're like, oh, yeah, okay. Scrappy-Doo is the talking cousin dog. All right, sure. Oh, Sid is the little brother that totally exists.
That was there the whole time. And he's there all the time. And man, I don't know. So like funny. It feels good. I'll just pop it on at night and I'll watch like 4 or 5 episodes. They're not super long, you know, and I go, yeah, nice. It just feels nostalgic. So that's what I've been doing with my time.
I might have to go back and watch Thumbelina because it looks like it's also on Amazon.
Oh, you sent it to me? Whoa, dude,
doesn't it look fucking
photo? Holy shit!
She looks like a fucking stupid fish.
Thumbelina, more like Dumbelina. Got her.
Isn't it great?
What year's that from? Do you know?
I was just on a page that told me everything about it, but then I left it.
92.
I wanted to find it on my anime list.
92, 93.
Mm-hmm. So that was the original run of the TV series, but then it was edited down into a movie.
Yeah, that's how it was for me. Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, interesting.
Dude, you should honestly.
It was re-released in 2006. What?
if rewatching The Adventures of Tom Sawyer has taught me anything, I would say go for it. Like, you know, because I'm there sitting there and like memorizing the lines, knowing exactly what they're gonna say, and it feels weird but good. Like there's this bit where I couldn't stop laughing where Huckleberry Finn's trying to get Tom Sawyer to come like leave school to go catch a pig that was like loose, that like they'll get a reward if they catch it. And like Tom's in the back of the class, he's standing up straight because he's in trouble. And then like Huckleberry Finn's like throwing rocks at him. He's like, hey, come on out. And he's like, no, I can't. Like I'll get in trouble. And then Huckleberry Finn does this thing. He goes, big pig. And then like he like smashes his fist on the windowsill and bites it. And like he's like tearing up. He's like this. And as a child, I was just like, that always made me like crack up. I was like, that's so dumb. And now as like a 26-year-old adult or whatever, and I see that, I'm like, oh my God, that's so fucking anime. And it makes me crack up because it's so fucking dumb. But it's so good, honestly. Go back and do it.
That's what I'm curious about, because I remember this as like a kid, not loving it, but it was... My grandma had this and like a Care Bears movie.
So you watched this a lot.
So I watched both of them a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember there were like a couple of songs in it, but it's all like in English, all these English songs that I have no idea if they were actually there in Japanese or what the deal was, because it was edited down, you know. Yeah, I'm really curious. This is going to be a weird adventure. Cool. Thanks.
Cool. Yeah.
All right.
That's it, man.
Okay.
That's all I made. You want? We can go into the news.
We're gonna news it. We're gonna try to get through this nice and quick. Since
yeah, let's
we've
do
been
it.
talking about nothing for too long.
Whoa.
Okay, so lots of people are stoked. I'm pretty stoked. Cyberpunk 2077 has an anime that's going to come out as well. So it's a highly anticipated game, and now it's getting an anime made by Trigger. Trigger's the studio behind it. It's supposed to come out in 2022.
I think it's super cool. I remember that what was it? Blade Runner 2099 did something like this, where they had the anime prequel, or like I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was actually part of the story, because I didn't see the new Blade Runner, but when I heard about this, like, oh, that's dope. It's cool that the things that are all like, in popular culture are going to be made into an actual anime. So yeah, I'm down for that for sure.
So yeah, it's going to be called Cyberpunk Edge Runners. And the music is going to be composed by Akira Yamaoka, sorry, who did the Silent Hill music, which I fucking loved.
Spooky. Very
atmospheric, very good, just solid music overall. So I've been a fan of his for a long time. He's also got some like very different kind of music in DDR games. But I'm stoked to know that he's still in the biz and he's getting up with this 2077 cyberpunk shit. Ooh, baby. It's going to be cool. Next up, The World Ends With You is going to get an anime. I'm very interested in that. So a lot of people that don't know what The World Ends With You is, it is a Nintendo DS game made by Square Enix that did, all the Final Fantasy games and shit. And this game, it was interesting. The story was really intriguing. I really wanted to know more about that, but I did not like the gameplay. Other people loved it, but it was very touchscreen heavy. And to me, it just wasn't as fun. I didn't like it.
The art style is very reminiscent of like that.
It's Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah. Final Fantasy, just like that fucking super nostalgic, like fucking shirt with the hood with no sleeves, like that's.
Yeah. In Kingdom Hearts 3D, they were in Traverse Town together.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds interesting.
I think it was Traverse Town. Yeah. Maybe it was Hollow Bastion. I can't remember. It's been forever. Dream Drop Distance. Anyways, The World Ends With You. Hey, it's going to come out. We're going to find out more information about that at Anime Expo Light, which is going to be this weekend. So make sure to tune in. It's going to be on July 3rd and 4th. So we're checking that out. You're checking out July 3rd, right?
Yes.
All right, good, because I'm checking out July 4th, and you're going camping, and we're going to figure out how the fuck we're going to record.
About camping.
How are we even going to record that episode? It's going to be fucking weird. All right.
I'll be back. I'll be back by Tuesday.
Hell
if that's what we're doing. I don't know what we're doing. We'll figure it out.
Do you want to talk about the summer anime coming out?
Yeah, let's do it. Might as well.
All right, cool. So we've got Fire Force is coming back, so we're getting some more of that. We're getting Dokyu Hentai HX Eros, so like heroes.
Okay.
That's going to be on July 3rd, July 4th. We're getting Lapis Relights. We're also getting, a bunch of Japanese title stuff.
Just skip the hard ones.
I'm not going to do that. July 6th, though, God of High School, which we're very excited about. That's going to come out. So there are a couple more that are coming out, too, that aren't as hyped up. But July 7th, there's going to be a second season of Muyo Toroji no Maharitsu Sodan Jimusho. So I'm pretty excited about that. I don't know about you. It's frustrating because I'm sure I would know it, but I don't know the English names of shit. It's just, yeah. Anyways, we're going to get ReZero, the second season. It's finally coming out July 8th.
Fuck, I promised myself I'd watch that. God, I
along
gotta
with
get to it.
Decadence. So, get hyped.
I gotta finish Tom Sawyer first, so it makes sense.
Yeah, you absolutely do. New season of My Romantic Comedy Snafu, or whatever.
Didn't that got delayed, right? It was supposed to come out earlier? Yeah.
So July 9th, that's going to come out, along with No Guns Life, second season. Then July 10th, we have Kanojo Okarashimasu, and then Uzaki-chan wa Asobitai. Finally, July 11th. When I say finally, I'm not done. We got Sword Art Online Alicization War of Underworld's second season. Peter Grill to Kinja no Gikan, and Get Up, Get Live. We got more stuff. We got Monster Musume, dude. Monster Musume, whatever. We're getting more of that. It's July 12th. We got it. July 15th, Gibiate. July 16th, Koito Produce, Evil Love, which I don't remember why that name is familiar. It's the like EVOLXLOVE. So you know it's...
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. I don't know.
And then finally, sometime in August, we're going to get Ani ni Sukaru Kusuri wa Nai 4.
Okay.
That's it. That's all the anime. We did it. Summer anime. Get hyped.
I'm hyped. I'm there.
Yeah,
hyped.
We'll see. It's some sequel stuff, which I don't know, and some more stuff. So I'm hesitantly excited. Hey, more stuff for people to be excited about. Fate Stay Night Heaven's Feel 3 Spring Song is going to premiere on August 15th. So as long as shit stays stable enough, that will actually release. So keep staying inside, keep using masks, keeping that distance, all that good shit, and you get more anime. So why would you not? This one's huge for you. Why the hell are you here, teacher? The Uncensored edition is coming to HiDIVE.
Oh, right. Shit, the powerhouse of anime does it again.
We got Domestic Girlfriend. We got Why the hell are you here, teacher? Come at us. We got it all.
I can't believe people are stoked to see a little bit of more of like a girl peeing on someone else. I don't get it.
Finally. I've been waiting.
I mean, I am stoked. Don't get me wrong. I can't wait to watch this and pretend like I didn't watch it. But it's so strange.
Hey man, I got one more thing.
Okay.
So I'm a Spider. So what? Is gonna have two cores. Comes out January 2021, and we would be seeing it this year, but it got delayed due to the whole sitch. January 2021. So I'm a Spider. So what?
Is this the one where the manga that you bought at Anime Expo?
It sure is.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that was kind of fun. It at least gave me vibes of like reincarnated as slime. The little bits that you showed me, and I read a little bit of it. Yeah,
and the fact that they announced it's 2 core makes me interested in a way. I don't know. It's essentially a show that's about this girl that fucking died under a pile of books or something dumb like that. Like she had no friends, and she was kind of ostracized for loving books, and then she got crushed by books. No, that's the sentence of a bookworm. And then she got in a cool world, and she learned about books. Yeah, no, this one's just another reincarnated thing. And it's fun. It's a good time. It's like a more competitive world that she's from. And she was never that skilled with stuff, but she was always super determined. I think that's her backstory. And then she becomes a spider, and she gets really innovative in different ways to excel. She starts catching all kinds of things in her webs and just fucking chomping on them. Even though she's like a human inside of a spider, she's like, I guess I'm going to eat this snake or whatever the fuck. Yeah, you remember it.
Yeah, no, I do.
Yeah, the snake.
Absolutely.
Chomp, chomp. That's all the news that I have for you. I don't have a particular order to talk about these shows, but I definitely want to start with Gleipnir.
Okay, yeah, for sure. Let's do it.
All right, cool. So Gleipnir is a little show that is by the studio Pine Jam. They've made stuff like Gamers and Just Because. And Gleipnir started out as a show that we didn't know anything about. I had seen a couple of promotional photos, and I was pretty interested. Stayed interested in the show for a while, and then by the end of it, I have no investment in it whatsoever. If a season 2 came out, I would probably pass it up, but I might check it out to see if they're even going to do anything interesting.
I think the first time it popped up on our radar was because I mean usually before shows get their hey, here's a trailer or whatever, they get like promotional images and stuff, and you like sent me like hey, look at this, and it was like hey, it's March comes in like a lion character, because he looks very
he looks
very
just
menacent.
like him.
of the main character, and I was like, oh shit, it's March Comes Like a Lion meets Battle Royale. So yeah, the show started off. I wanted to say, okay, first of all, I really like the intro. I think it's like it really gets the vibe
intro
across.
And outro are really good. Yeah,
like really gets the feeling of like what you're going to be watching.
I think this intro is a good introduction for the show, and the outro is like a good song and a good outro.
Yeah, no,
like,
for sure. On both
I mean,
points,
the intro song, of course, is good, but you can't really jam on its own. It's a little bit too anime over the top TV show.
Yeah,
you know?
it is very. Yeah, it's very gothic, right? You're like, I wouldn't put this on my playlist. And
the
like
harpsichord being like,
yeah. But it does get you in the oh shit, stuff's about to happen. But yeah, when the show started, like we really didn't know, which is always great. I like going into the show not really knowing what we're getting into. The minimum information I knew is that like, hey, this guy turns into some weird monster, and like I think it's a battle royale or like something like that, like I think a survival anime.
Yeah, exactly. And you go into it and you know it's going to be a battle mech anime, and it's exactly what we expected it to be.
No, it's in. I think to speak positively of the show, it does a really good job at the beginning, making me want to know more. Like like
I still want to know more.
Yeah,
but then when they told me more, I was like, this is not what I wanted to know.
Like I want answers. I want answers. I want answers. And like I'm like, why is he turning into this? Why are the other people like like what's the coins? Like just like that's what I like and that was the driving force, at least for the first, I don't know, 3-ish, 4-ish episodes. I'm like, okay, I want to know more. And then we start finding out more and start getting some answers. And I feel like at that point
the show like a really solid decline and then stabled.
Yeah, I think we hit a down period with like once we find out. Okay, so everybody knows we were talking about spoilers and stuff, but like, the whole point, the fact that like the coins that they're collecting are like memories or like actual aliens or whatever, and they're being reimbursed or being given to an alien, and he'll give you whatever wish you want is like super just like out there.
Like,
super,
why
like,
would this alien be doing that? And why wouldn't he just so like horrific and evil? And it has really dark themes.
Yeah,
it's very etchy and over the top. And I'm like, this alien has motives.
Yeah, why wouldn't he just go get him himself? Like he's a very powerful alien, right? Like from what it looks like, he can give anybody the power to do anything, and it's not explained if it's magic or technology.
Yeah, no, it's like the intrigue of Assassination Classroom, where you're like, why doesn't this alien just fucking kill all of them? Mm-hmm. And why is he like trying to teach them? Like you have questions, you'll get answers.
Mm-hmm.
It has that intrigue.
For Assassination Classroom, you get those answers like literally like the last
like the
3 episodes of like it's. I like that show.
And that's kind of how I expected this one to go. Yeah. I was on for the mysterious ride. The mystery and the intrigue is what kept me in. And then when
they told us what it was,
I wouldn't say that like they told us everything, but when they told us a lot, it turns out I actually don't give a fuck about it. Like,
the show took a dip at that point, I feel like, and then the main character, the boy and the girl, end up joining a crew of other people who are also collecting coins, and they're showing their powers.
Yeah, and I was like, I want to know more powers. And then very quickly, I was like, I just don't care.
I don't care. Yeah, I'm also like, I just don't care about these people. Like, especially the leader, who's like a fucking, pretty much like a fucking rapist or sexual offender. I'm just like,
yeah, it started out, and she's like totally gonna like
have sex with her or do something.
Yeah, I want to say molest. I want to say rape, but it was consensual, but like a forced consent. Like, she is strong enough to say no, and you already know that, but she's like, but the things that I want are worth it. Mm-hmm. So it was like a very conflicting thing. And then eventually she's like, hey, how about let's not do the sex thing? She's like, that's fine. Like, wait, what?
Here's my power. Yeah, if you fucking talk, your fucking brain will pop off, your head will pop off, or whatever.
Like,
it's like
sex wasn't part of it.
Yeah. That's where I was at too. I was like, so she has to fuck you to do the pact. I was like, no, she's just a fucking weirdo.
Yeah, I for sure thought the sex thing was part of it, but then very quickly I'm like, okay, cool. So I don't really give a fuck about her or her crew, and we could just kill all of them. But I know that that's not what you want me to think, so we'll just keep waiting. And then I never felt like, they're all good. Like, it gave us backstory, but not enough to be involved.
Invest or anything. Like, I like some of them more than others. I like the bit where they're fighting and then he like gets fucking obliterated with the girl inside of her.
He just straight up dies and then turns into a shadow monster.
Yeah, it turns into that Naruto, bit when he fucking gets too fucking mad or whatever, and the fucking Jinchuriki inside takes over. So I was like, oh, dope. I've seen Naruto. It's fucking sick.
And then
he's got
nothing
2
happens
guns
for 5 episodes, I think.
Yeah, and nothing really happens. And then I think like there's a bit where I was like, I'm kind of maybe back in it for a second because the girl that was inside of him when he got crushed, they shared memories or they shared like things.
Like,
and
very cool. Now they know a lot more about each other, and this could get like really interesting and different kind of like social conflicts.
But
they don't give a fuck about social conflicts.
Yeah, but our main character is just essentially like someone wiped his brain and like he's lived a life before this. And I was like, okay, cool. I'm interested to see this. And then they just show you all of it at like the last episode. And I go,
the last
this
couple
feels
episodes.
really, it just felt really like misplaced. I was like, I thought we were like, I don't know, man. It just felt strange because we're doing stuff, interesting stuff, boring stuff. We spent a lot of time in the woods with the fucking group of losers, and then it's just like, oh, by the way, here's your past that you don't that you're not aware of.
Getting all of that stuff, it would have been cool to get like little pieces of it. We didn't need the whole thing, or like seeing other people and seeing that they somehow play a part, but instead it was just like, yeah, we know that him and this chick clearly knew each other, and that's it. And it's like, yeah, and there were like 4 more people, and also all of this happened, and like this happened, and you're like, hang on a second, I don't care anymore.
like there's a part where the boy who's a giant monster, he can make like plants grow. He's like the Totoro character. He's just like, hey, I know you, and he's just like, yeah, you used to go to that fucking cram school and play with all your friends. And the main character's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I would go to cram school there, and there was no one ever there. And he's like, oh, that's strange. And I'm just like, oh yeah, bro, you're planting seeds. You're making me care about this because now you have a mystery. But then they just tell you, and it's like at the very end, it's like, oh, here it is. And it's like a whole length episode of it. And they introduce. Well, you already know him, and then you know the older sister that's responsible for turning him in the way he is or whatever. But you don't know their other 4 friends, really. And it's like, I'm supposed to care about them. And then the show does like a really like, hey, don't forget we're super dark. Here's suicide, and then a murder in the same episode. And I go, oh, okay, I get it. I get it. You guys are dark. You guys are fucking edgy. You guys are cool. But here's
dude, there's nothing wrong with being edgy. Like, I really want to make that clear. I like edgy shit. That's why I was into this, honestly. But then there's like taking it too far, or it being like, this doesn't feel genuine anymore. This feels like somebody's writing something to be super goddamn edgy. That's the impression that I got like a lot of this show. I didn't feel like the edginess fit a lot of parts of it. And they just decided to do it for no reason. Like when you look back at the start of the show and they're like, having this super sick fight in the second episode and like straight up killing a girl. I was like, holy shit, whoa, what is this show gonna be? And then nobody dies and the fights get really lame until the last episode where there's one more fight. I'm like, oh, there's the animation. Okay.
yeah. And then like, oh, man, that last fight also felt just very like unnecessary. Like it was just
it was totally
like
unnecessary.
where they're in the junkyard
was unnecessary.
Right? I was just like, what? I don't know. It just felt weird. And I will say for like, if the show is about, because I thought like, I was wrong. It's not really a battle royale. It's not like you're going to kill people. It's more like a collect the coins. Yeah. And the thing is like, if this group of characters are out there collecting coins, they're doing a fucking shit job of it. Because we never see them actually find the coin.
I know. That's the thing that I think pisses me off is that it's not like, hey, I went out there and I found 3 today. Holy shit, you found 3? No fucking way. It's none of that shit. It's instead, they just walk around and they're like, they come across one. Somebody.
Yeah, or like, they'll see another person that's like, hey, are you finding coins? Like, am I a 10-foot, tall gorilla? Yeah, I'm out here looking for coins, bitch. Let's fucking fight. And they don't really even fight. I don't know. That huge dip in the center really hurt. And the way I feel about the show is like, I would watch a second season as long as if it kept progressing, if it kept going forward, and it wasn't just, if it was like it was in the beginning of the show where I was like super excited to just like to learn more and like see some actual like animations that's warranted, like an actual fight that's like, okay, that makes sense. I'd be down for it. But
the way the show ended kind of made it feel like they I guess they don't have any intention of making the show feel the same as it did in the beginning. They instead are just like, yeah, we got a new plot line. You're in it for this new plot line, and that's it.
which feels super strange too, because it's just like, hey, like, you know, we have this other friend, and like there's the group of other people like that are seemingly so much more powerful, right? And there she's on the phone with somebody, and she's like answering to somebody, but we don't know who, and just like, yeah, it looks like there's a bigger bad out there, but I feel like we haven't even met him. Like we for sure haven't seen who's the big bad out there, because like for a while I was like,
kill the shadow. You're like,
I was like, yeah.
why?
For a while I was like, oh, the big bad is the guy with the sharp teeth or whatever. But he's just in charge of his gang of idiots who's just they're all just a bunch of losers also. So it's like, okay, cool. So, and then they introduced, so I really like the character that had like, he was like a scyther. He had like fucking scythes for hands.
Yeah.
And like they become allies. We're just like, hey, like we'll respect each other. Let's work together. We like literally never see him more than that one time.
Yeah, and then they're like, "Oh, hey, guy. By the way, we're gonna work together now."
Yeah, or he's just like, "Hey, come join us," and he's like, "No, I don't want to be a part of that lame crew. I'm just a part of you guys." It's like, fucking fine. I don't know, man.
Know it.
If a second season comes out and there's nothing else to watch, I don't mind popping it in. Here's my biggest concern. Here's my biggest downfall for this entire fucking thing is the fact that it's on Funimation and their shit sucks. I had so many issues just trying to fucking cast my shit to Funimation.
Every time, there's always a new issue
frustrating.
with Funimation.
Did we talk about the new Crunchyroll update for the app? Have you seen it?
Oh no, yeah, I did see it.
Yeah, I
what
like
do you
it.
think? I haven't done anything with it.
It's working for me. I haven't had any real issues with it. It does a fucking bang up job. I feel like the only issue I've had is I felt like I logged in and then I went to go open it again. I wasn't logged in anymore. I was like, because I started playing it. It's like, here's an ad. And they go, no. I pay for no ads, you know?
Yeah, that happens on my PlayStation sometimes where it's like, you're not logged in. And I'm like, let me go log in. And then I enter in my email. And when I get halfway through my password, it's like, you're logged in.
And they go, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know, man. It's just the Funimation, get your shit together. Honestly, just figure your shit out.
Hell yeah. Next up, let's talk about the other Funimation show that I watched called Wave Listen to Me. This was made by the studio Sunrise. You know them from some older stuff like Cowboy Bebop and some very different than Cowboy Bebop type stuff like Daily Lives of the High School Boys. Right?
Yeah.
So Wave Listen to Me is a slice of life kind of show where it's telling the story of this woman who is just getting into radio. The first episode starts out and she's dropped in it and she has to do a show that actually comes later in the season. And then the next episode starts out and we kind of see her whole journey. She's working at this little curry place and they always play this one radio station all the time. That's the radio station that she winds up being on somehow. She essentially finds her way there. When I say that, I mean some shit happens. She winds up on the radio where she's like drunk and talking about her ex-boyfriend and bitching about him. And they're like, this is amazing. This is some of the best content. People fucking love this shit. So then she goes on again. They're like, we want you to come back. She's like, I don't really know. She decides to come back. And she does a whole episode about like somebody's getting revenge and like wants to kill their boyfriend and like tricks them into this whole thing and then winds up killing their boyfriend and aliens wind up being a part of it. And it's a whole like weird murder mystery alien thing that a lot of it's ad-libbed and she's just really good at going with the flow and hosting a radio show and not leaving any moments of silence so that people are really interested in what's going on. Not to mention this is taking place at like 3 a.m. that this shit airs. So a lot of people don't hear it, but when she was first on the show, a lot of people did hear that. And people at the restaurant were like, is that our waitress chick? Because we're regulars here and we recognize that. And then the staff is like, I think this is fucking that waitress chick, dude. And long story short, Minare, the main character, Minare, she is into it. She gets really into the whole radio thing. She winds up investing more time into that and eventually is offered her own show. And the writer for her show goes away, so she's going to be doing all of it. And he, like, by the end of it, it's his very last episode that he's writing kind of thing. And then she's producing her own show at that point. And it was a really fun, lighthearted show. Not a whole lot kind of goes on. It's a good show. Don't get me wrong. It's comedy. It's slice of life. It's got, like, very little dramatic impact. So you're not going to have that kind of emotional connection. It's kind of a romance in some ways. You've got a really good cast of characters, from the super enigmatic main character to the more like quiet, meek partner that she's with for her TV show. They like wind up, or not TV show, radio show. They wind up getting on pretty well. And her partner is just more reserved, more quiet. You've got the chef that winds up taking over the curry shop while the manager like gets injured and is out. Manager is he is a like gay kind of like sexual predator essentially. So I'm like, how do you even put this? But he's always like hitting on dudes and like trying to grab their ass and shit. So it's a lot of that going on, which I think is done actually in a pretty funny way, because it's just like, all right, dude, calm the fuck down. He's always hitting on people, which of course it's shitty. If it were a real thing, it would be really shitty, but it's kind of, I'm having a funny time with this. I don't know. And then you've got the woman who comes and takes over at the restaurant for Minare, because Minare is, I don't know why she doesn't have any time for the curry shop. Like, it's very back and forth where she's so invested in this stupid radio show that she does once a week for like 20 minutes or whatever that it takes up all of her time somehow.
She's got to live it, bro. She's got to live her life.
She's doing other,
too busy.
Yeah, she's doing other shit at the radio. Anyways, somebody else winds up taking over her position and winds up being able to, like, she knows some things about cooking. She makes some recipes. People are into it. You just have like a really wide cast of characters with a lot of different moving parts, with the core of it being this really eccentric radio show, super late hour at night, super early in the morning. It's fun. I do recommend it. I just don't know who I recommend it to. Because it's super low impact. I don't know. Like, it's not, even though it's made by Sunrise, who did Daily Lives of High School Boys, I would be like, oh yeah, you gotta check that shit out. But this is like, I mean, if you like anime, like, it's another one. It's got kind of cool art. The intro and the outro are fucking, ooh, they're good. Really solid show.
But what you're saying is not like, it's not like a must watch. It's not like a,
no, super solid. It does everything that it needs to do. I never felt like, why am I watching this? But I also kind of felt like, who wants to watch this? What? Yeah. Like, I don't know. Nothing super important. Really good time for me though. I did enjoy it. Just don't have any idea who I would recommend it to. So I guess check it out. If you like the first episode, the show's for you. So yeah. you kind of know what to expect. First episode like drops you in, and it's just an episode of her radio show, but it shows a lot of the eccentric personality that she has. And the second episode shows you a little bit more of what the show actually is, but it still has that level of comedy, just in different areas. Yeah,
I remember watching that first episode and being like, I felt like it was very manic, and I was like, I can't.
It is.
I can't do this. I can't handle this, especially because like it is very high action, especially sometimes when she talks. I'm like, God, I gotta really catch with
the
these
voice
readings.
Acting's killer in that.
Yeah,
show.
No, she does a great job for sure. Where it feels like, yeah, a lot of, because like, I'm not gonna say I haven't seen too much of it, but like the animation wasn't something that wasn't like the driving force, but like the energy she went when she was like talking, I was like, yeah, I feel that. But I can't read fast enough to catch all your jokes. But yeah, and after one episode, I knew like, oh, this show's not for me. Just not really feeling it. So yeah, I'd say give it an episode, and if it tickles any of your fancies, yeah, keep watching it. If you want.
If you want, you don't have to do shit. You don't have to do anything. Another show you don't have to do anything for is Ascendance of a Bookworm. I've talked about this show before, and I really enjoyed it. This new... not season, this new arc, yeah, I guess it's kind of continuing it on. This whole thing is a lot more about her fitting into kind of a different kind of class. She was down at the peasant class, she went up to like merchant class, which kind of like is getting close to the nobles, so she has some noble friends, and then she finds out that she needs to go to the church, who has resources to kind of put all of her Okay. Hang on a second here. Somebody just went wild on Twitch. Don't worry about it. Every once in a while, you get these like weird people that stop in and they just say all of these like buzzwords to trigger things. Okay. It's a weird thing. Anyways, she puts all of her like mana that's inside of her into these magical objects that the church is able to have access to. She also joins the church because initially she found out it was a place that you can get lots of books and shit. And then they found out how magical she is and they're like, oh, we could use this. And it goes on. She has some retainers and the retainers don't like her because she's from a peasant class and she's doing stuff differently and she didn't work her way into here and she wasn't born of the faith and she doesn't even know what she's doing. So they all test her and eventually she like winds up making them come around to what she has to offer. And it builds more into she's making an influence on the church and she's doing a lot of good shit. She's like helping out the orphans that were starving and dying by giving them work and then kind of turning their little safe place their little house thing they have to stay in and are like only let out for fucking 10 minutes a day or whatever. They just stay locked inside and are given the scraps, the remainders of the food. They don't even get like their own meals or anything. They're neglected entirely. So she finally gives them like a job and a purpose and is teaching them different skills. And it winds up being like a wholesome aspect of the church now. She's trying to figure out her advisor. I don't really know what to call it for somebody who hasn't seen the show. But yeah, the person that's kind of like mentoring her. She's trying to figure out how he's fit into the church because he has these like magic books she wants to know more about. And she's like, what the fuck? And he says some stuff that's like not super churchy. And she has to like take a step back and remember he has his own story going on. He's not just a part of the church forever. And then eventually it leads into, all right, so we got to get your special like clothes for this ceremony that's going to come up in like a few months. You got to make sure to learn like how to do these prayers. This is going to be an important role for you to do. And then right after that, the next episode is like, okay, shit. So we're being called out right now. As a church, we get involved with some shit in the world. We have to go work with the knights. And then she's like, oh, I have to be a part of it? And it's like, yeah, so you're going to be a really important part of it. You make sure to remember this prayer. Put on those new clothes we just got you that we're using for the ceremony, but we also have to use them for this. They go out. Turns out that the place she meets her mentor, turns out that they're all going to be riding on like Pegasus, but he has a flying lion. But they're just regular old nothings. And then when you hop on them, you imbue them with the magic inside of you. And then it's like a stone statue that winds up flying, essentially. So all of these different knights are flying with that. And then they get to the area. They see this giant tree that's like waving around all these tentacles and shit. And he's like, okay, so here's what's happening. All of us knights are going to go and take that down. I'm like the holy knight of the group or whatever. And we're going to have these two knights protect you while everyone else goes and fights this tree. And then her retainer is just like, by the way, this is the time where you say the prayer. So she's given like a little ring and then she says a prayer and the ring takes her magic and it spreads it to everyone and it like blesses them with a prayer that allows them to like use more of their magic and not have as much taken out whenever they use their magic things. So they're able to like imbue their arrows with like a multiplier. So they turn black. They shoot them at the tree. And it shoots out like a bunch of needles that fucking explode. And I'm like, wait, this show's about a girl that's making books, right? Like, what the fuck?
Well,
so they're fine.
Well, I remember very clearly, like, because I watched, I don't know, maybe a couple episodes of Ascendance of Bookworm. And you had talked about it when there was that first wrap up. And I was like, yeah, and at this point, it hadn't gotten super magic-y yet,
But there were like things here and there that talked about magic and...
I mentioned to you, I was like, yeah, doesn't the show start with like her mentor like putting like a weird tiara on her and like looking at her past or her memories?
Yeah, so we actually see that now.
What? No. And they're like, yeah, I think it does. And you're like, yeah, okay. And now it's gone to like they're riding like stone Pegasuses and lions.
Yeah, but they did have that as well. What they did is they put on the crowns and they like minds melded. She didn't know exactly what was happening. She thought that he was just looking into her mind, but it turns out that they were like sharing memories and emotions and shit at that time.
Without her consent? That's fucking bad, dude.
You know, fucking who cares, whatever. So they're looking into her life and like what happened. She was super into libraries and shit, and she was an adult grown woman, and she wound up dying. And then she wakes up in this world and there's no books. And but from her memories, she like remembers her family, and she's like, ah, fuck, like I forgot that's my mom, and like that's mom. And as an adult woman, she's like kind of ignoring her, reading her books or whatever. Like that's her memory. She's reading her books at the dinner table where her mom's like, hey, by the way, this. She's like, yeah, whatever, mom. Kind of blowing her off. So she gets really emotional. It's like, no, I want to talk to my mom. Like, I want to do this. And then her mentor is just like, we have to stop. She's like, no, I want to see my fucking mom. And then they get out of it, and the mentor's crying and she's crying. And she's like, what the fuck? And he's like, you're so fucking selfish. And she's like, what the hell are you talking about? Yeah, we were sharing emotions there, dude. And she's like, well, I didn't know.
Why don't you fucking tell me? Yeah, shut up. Get on your Pegasus. Get the fuck out of here.
You have to make sure to be more calm. That was the lesson out of that. But yeah, she's just like, ah, fuck. So I do have all these memories. And she essentially says, we have to do that again sometime. And he said, no fucking way. And then they negotiated, and he's like, eventually, maybe. So yeah, anyways, they go and fight this fucking thing. There's another little tussle going on. You find out that the mentor used to be a part of the Knights, and he was like the best one, and then he dropped out so that he could be a part of the church, and we don't know exactly why that happened yet. This show's wild. It's got so much going on. It's really fun. But it's also slow. So people that are interested in getting like a lot of shit at once, this really adds up, and it feels like there's so much lore in this, though. Like, normally things need to set up the world, and then once you have the world set up, it does whatever the fuck. And then you just pay attention to what the characters are doing and learning and how the story's changing that way. In this one, it's like, all right, so we're learning a little bit about the world, and then it just snowballs, dude. You're like, I know so much about this world, more than like any other show, but it's slow. I don't know. It's really, really good. People that like slice of life, people that like this kind of really world-driven story, that's what you should invest yourself into if you're looking for a show like that. Ascendance of a Bookworm is great. I fucking love it.
Fine.
What about you?
I also love Ascendance of a Bookworm. I love how it makes you happy.
Hell yeah. Oh, I also didn't say, but the studio that makes it is Ajia-Do, and they did like Izetta the Last Witch. They've done this season's Kakushigoto. So they've done some shit. They've done a lot more too, but those are just a couple of examples. Anyways, what if we talked about Tower of God?
Okay, you mean we're talking about Kyle's ass? This season's
ass.
I would say this season's my favorite show of this season.
Easily, by far.
Yeah.
Made by Telecom Animation Film. They made like Orange. They've made All Out. They made some weird stuff. They made lots of different things. And what we got is an incredible, fun battle anime with all different kinds of battles. This is the one to watch. Just go and watch it. If you haven't, if you've been waiting, the season's done. There's hopefully going to be more. It leaves it open for more. It's fun.
This is also, at least to, my knowledge, a Crunchyroll original that like fucking knocks it out of the park. So it makes me really excited for what other Crunchyroll originals we get, because the only one I know before this is Inspector, right?
Yeah, Inspector, and I want to say there was another one, but I don't know.
But this
Dr. Stone. Dr. fucking Stone. The one that's like, hey, have you heard of Crunchyroll, Ohio Sakai. You're just fucking in it. Yeah,
Dude,
so
I
Dr.
totally
Stone's
forgot.
the one.
I forgot fucking Dr. Stone did this weird Crunchyroll intro thing. It just was really just out of nowhere.
Yeah.
No, but Tower of God is a Crunchyroll original, and
Have we ever explained what that is?
We didn't. We were able to get the information, like an actual response from a reputable source as to what a Crunchyroll original is, because they just kind of popped up out of nowhere, and it's strange for something like, I feel like, that important to just get past you and I somehow.
I think the thing that it comes down to is it's called a Crunchyroll original, but we already had Dr. Stone, and Inspector was like already airing, and we had a bunch more, yeah.
And it was like, boom, Crunchyroll original. I was like, what does that mean?
Yeah, what the fuck is a Crunchyroll original?
So we do have an answer. I don't know if we're going to share it. Do you want to share it today, or are we going to talk about it later?
No, we're going to share it today. So a Crunchyroll original is essentially something that has been funded in different ways, or like partnered in different ways, and prominently by Crunchyroll. So Crunchyroll, like, what?
Kind of imagine it like, like a Netflix original, but like not in this, in the sense is like Netflix is paying money for the thing to get produced, as opposed to like, oh, Netflix bought this thing that was already going to be made, and then just going to put the Netflix sticker on it. So that's where it's different.
And for one reason or another, with Inspector and Dr. Stone, like Crunchyroll already had those. They were for sure Crunchyrolls, but they wanted to make it an announcement that they were doing Crunchyroll originals. And for whatever reason, they had to wait on announcing that exactly. They had to wait on explaining what it is. So instead, they were just like Crunchyroll originals, which left people like us confused.
Because, I was like, how did this happen that we didn't hear about it? But anyways, this gives me hope that Crunchyroll originals can be good. Because just kind of like how Netflix originals in the past used to just always be bangers. I was like, oh man, have you seen that new Netflix show? A little thing called Stranger Things. And you go like, no, I haven't seen it. And then you kind of like tell people about it, and it's like amazing. But now it's just like, hey, you've heard that new Netflix original? It's like, what's it called? It's called like Bozark or something like that. It's about this guy named Bo, and he's in an arc or whatever. And you're just like, is it good? And you go, I don't know. Crunchyroll, Netflix made it, so maybe it's good. Where it's like it's lost its kind of luster. Where like I feel like it used to just mean a lot, and now it just can kind of mean anything. There's like a bunch of Netflix originals where it's like, this is trash. Like, I don't care. I mean, obviously people are watching it, and it is for some people. But is it like a piece of like television history or something that should be like remembered or like continue to be watched? Absolutely not.
Well, even like with Black Mirror and stuff, with that becoming a Netflix original, because it wasn't initially, I don't think it was just like
BBC.
It was a BBC show. When it became a Netflix original, people were fucking into it. They loved it. It was good, man. And then at some point, it wasn't as good. Kind of fell off, and like, it's weird because it's that quality. It started out at the point where everyone's like, everything Netflix is fucking incredible. We did it. It's lived through the point where, Netflix, sometimes they got goods.
Yeah. No, I want to say, is it the most recent Stranger Things season 3?
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I like 3 more than I like 2. There's bits of 3 that I for sure don't like. There's like parts of 3 where it's like, dude, this chunk sucked ass. But season 1 of Stranger Things, I'm like, yeah, man, that was really good. It felt like a fresh of breath there. And yeah, quality dips. I never got around to watching. Was it Game of Cards? No, what's it called? House of Cards. Remember that show that?
Yeah, I've heard of that. Yeah, I was obsessed with House of Cards. I loved it.
That was an earlier Netflix original, right? And I feel like that one was very popular. And then obviously fucking Kevin Spacey went.
It suffered once Kevin Spacey was off of it.
Yeah, because they tried to keep going with it, and it was just like, oh, this just isn't happening.
And it's not because I was like invested in it. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna finish this story. I trust the writers to make it good, and it turns out that he was a very like his character was a very important role in the show that kind of kept certain things going, and they didn't know how to keep that without him. At least, because he left, things changed. They inherently have to change. Anyways, Tower of God, yeah.
So I'm just saying, like, because Tower of God is so good, I'm excited for whenever we get other Crunchyroll originals. I'm at least willing to give it like a shot and be like, I know you guys can be good, because I am like super surprised they killed it. Because there's times where we talk shit about Crunchyroll and being like, you can't even fix your player, you know, stuff like bullshit like that or whatever. But honestly, they fucking knocked it out the park. Like from the beginning, like the intro song, so fucking good. I just want to fucking dance whenever it, you know, and it's like its visuals are okay, but something about that song is just jamming. And the show starts off and it's like, it's very like,
it's mysterious.
It's got mysterious
background music.
And it's like
good, unique.
It's like it looks very unique. It doesn't look like traditional anime. It looks like someone said
a webtoon, hey, you know?
Yeah, it's based off a webtoon. And then we've gone back and looked at the webtoon art and we're like, this does not look like the anime. The anime looks a lot better. But you can see that they were inspired by like, okay, cool, let's grab this webtoon and let's do some anime stuff with it and let's see what happens. But I just know that after the first episode, I was just like, I was so forward to just like stoked to see what happens. And then like the episode ends and we kind of start in the new section and we see other people. And I was like, what's going on? Like, it just felt like it took a huge leap instead of like it was like, hey man, you think this show's about this? You have no fucking clue what this show's about.
And by the end of the first season, I still don't know what's going to go on. Like,
no, absolutely not. Like,
but unlike Gleipnir, where I was like, I don't know what's happening and I want to know. This was like constantly, oh, there's new stuff. It's always going to change, and it addressed that right away. Mm-hmm. So you just became accepting of it constantly having a new narrative, having new goals and initiatives for each character. And then by the end of it, you're like, yeah, I want to know the next thing.
Yeah, because it felt like it was going to be like, cool, you're just going to climb this tower and get to the top and be okay. And it's like, no, man, you're going to be in teams, and you're going to work in teams and do challenges. Like, okay, cool. It's like, no, man, you guys are going to class, so you get fucking learning.
What's the plot of the
friends. Show? What's the what?
What's the plot?
Okay, yeah. So the plot is we got a main character. His name's Bam, and he has a girl that he likes named Rachel, and they're friends. And she decides to disappear and climb this tower that's called the Tower of God. And it's very briefly glazed over, like, hey, like when you get to the top of the tower, this massive tower, you get whatever your wish is fulfilled, right? So she wants to go to the top and see the stars, or whatever. Who knows what that even means, right? But she goes into the tower. And like she just abandons him, and he's like, I have to find Rachel. I have to be with her. So he also makes his way into the tower irregularly, not the normal way. He forces himself in there, and he's like, cool, I'm gonna climb this tower. And instantly he just starts meeting different challenges after challenges, like crazy stuff like, hey, fight this giant fucking sea serpent monster thing. And it's just like, fuck. And then they throw him into like, hey, there's 100 of you guys here, fucking battle royale. I need 40 of you guys left. Fucking do it, you know?
And then, little pro tip, by the way, don't look this up on my anime list. There are spoilers in character names, it turns out. Because I feel like I know some more about Bam than I should have ever known.
Whoa, bro, don't be spoiling stuff.
I know, that's all I'm saying, so just avoid that shit.
And like I said, he starts making allies and friends, and all these people have really cool like designs and powers, and they're interesting, and all of them just have their own reason to want to climb this tower, make it to the top, and get their wish fulfilled. And they all kind of know that this is a very hard thing to do, and not all of them are going to make it. If not, maybe none of them are going to make it. And they're just all very driven to go up there. And Bam is just kind of like a lovable idiot. It kind of gives me vibes of like, the show gave me vibes of like Hunter x Hunter at points, where it's like, cool, look at all these weird people, and like, and like, let's see how they interact with each other, or like they have like the dumbest designs. Like there's the guy that's like a giant, like, he looks like a sheep, like a giant puff, and like he's wearing like a mascot suit, and his feet are coming out the bottom, and he's got horns. And I go, what a dumb looking design. And he's got like some super cool powers.
Yeah, because like, him in that world, I was like, I mean, I guess I don't know what anything could be, but this just feels a little bit too anime.
Yeah,
and then it kept feeling very anime, and I had to remind myself, like, even though there's a lot of unrealistic stuff, it still felt like it was kind of a grounded sci-fi until this character showed up, and then I was just like,
no,
we're whatever, dude.
Yeah, that fight was super cool. I really like that one, because I was like, especially how it ends where that guy comes out of fucking nowhere with a giant hammer. I'm like, oh my god, fucking get fucked. It's good though. I like the fact that the show never really like, I never have a really good grasp of where this is in whatever world they are. Because they're all just like, yeah, I'm from this place, and like my tribe is the people that have horns. They got their horns taken away, or like, yeah, I come from over here. We're lizard people, and it's just like, oh, by the way, there's these fucking sea lions and these orcs that carry these giant worms that suck the lions from the, and we go, where are we?
Yeah,
What
it's like
is
this whole dichotomy that we had no idea existed, and it keeps adding to itself. I think that it's just whatever the fuck it wants to be. I don't know how certain characters know about, like, other characters. I felt like there was all separated worlds, and the Tower of God is where people come from all these different worlds in order to explore more, or like timelines or dimensions or whatever the fuck. It's like a very
you think it's worlds? You think it's like separate, like planets kind of thing, where like you just kind of...
Well, that's the way it feels. It feels like they are very separated instead of it all being on the same like planet. It feels like there's a lot more to it, but it's really hard to say. It's just the whole magic aspect. Like, some people are blown away by the different magic that people have and other people aren't. And I feel like if some of these people that are like regular ass looking people that joined the tower and that are going up it, climbing it, I feel like if they don't know as much about this magic shit, like, some people in the real world do know about that. If I was in the real world, I feel like I would for sure know about the magic shit that exists.
Yeah.
Right.
I get what you're saying. But that's kind of also like the idea of like Hunter x Hunter, like they go to the test, you know, and they're like, yeah, we're just really skilled at this. I have this, you know, I have these weird abilities or whatever. And then it isn't until after the Hunter test where it's just like, yeah, there's this shit called fucking Nen, and, you know, I'm gonna teach you how to fucking use it. And it's just like, oh, that was the real test, the test the whole time. So I like the way I see it. I'm sorry, the way that
for the
I
whole
like
Hunter
to
Hunter
imagine
thing, the way that I explain the Hunter Hunter thing is that they're kids, and like
and
Gon
they don't
is
know,
like an orphan essentially. Like,
but I also feel like there's also adults that don't know what it is. Like they like
yeah, maybe, yeah.
But the way I see it, like I just in the Tower of God world, I feel like it is a giant planet with like a giant like different pieces of like land where like there's so much land and so much space in between them and like sea and stuff that you could know a little portion. Like, yeah, I'm from this nation that's connected to this nation. I've heard of these things. I've seen these people. But then like on the other side of the world, like there's just completely like people with like thousands of eyes and like 100 arms, and you're like, what the fuck? So I like to imagine like it just being like this giant world, and like the center is like this Tower of God where like they say like the king of Jahard or whatever was like the first guy to go up, and like he'll so like I kind of maybe like it's like a tree of life kind of deal. Like it's like this thing that was there and he made it all the way up, and it was just like at the top, who knows, there's something there that gives you the power, and he's like, cool, I want to live forever. And that's like how kind of like this world comes to be, because there's times where like because I don't know how the actual layout of the world is in this, and that's not even the point. Like people don't even, not even for a second is Bam just like, hey, what's the world look like? Because no one fucking asks, no one fucking cares. But I'd like to think that there's time when I'm watching the show, I was like, oh, cool, he entered the tower, he's in the tower. And I'm like, I'm expecting to see like an actual tower, but you don't, right? And then they go, cool, you did this test, now you're in like this testing facilities. And I go, are we in the tower yet? Are we climbing the tower? And then like by the end of the first season, it's just like, all right, guys, this is the crew that passed the test or whatever. You guys are going to the tower. And I was like, are we not in the tower? And then they get fucking Power Rangers fucking teleported somewhere else, you know, fucking beamed away. And I go, yeah, the whole time I was like, have we not? And are we, what level, what, you know, it's like, so because there's so much like that isn't answered, I'm very invested, and I'm at the point where like, I don't even care if I get answers to these things. Cause it's like, it's more fun just for me to think about it and be like, oh, what a wild idea. And whoever's writing this on Webtoons, like I don't know if they have like an actual like idea of what the entire story is, because if they do, their brain's fucking massive to be like, all right, this is how this shit works, and it kind of feels like he's just kind of throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks, but it's working. Like and I've seen that happen before in other shows, like fucking Cannon Buster, where the guy's just throwing a shit ton of stuff at the wall, and I go, it doesn't work. And I go, oh my God, this is horrible. This is fucking so monotonous. But this one's just like, yeah, dude, there's just this fucking guy in a giant sleeping bag who just sleeps whenever he wants. He can also fly. Who the fuck cares? There's this lizard chick with the weird lizard fucking whip. There's the 13, the swords that is 13 months. That means there's an extra month in this world trip, because because there's 13 weapons. They go, when is it? Is it after December, before January? Is it between fucking June and July?
Because they are saying the names of weapons like Black March. It's named Black March because not marching or anything. It's the month of March.
Yeah, but there's a point where like one of the sheep guys like, yeah, I'm supposed to collect the 13 swords that are like the series of this month. They go, that means there's 13 months in this world. Where the fuck are we? I don't fucking know.
I love it.
It's great, dude. Yeah, it's so good. And I want to talk about the fucking ending because it left me like, what? You know?
Sure. Hell yeah. Okay. Let's do it. Wrap up the episode.
For sure. So here it is. So this whole time, Bam's like doing his best to, find Rachel, save Rachel, blah, 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 all this stuff. And he eventually finds out that like Rachel did make it to the tower, but especially in the last episode, like he sees Rachel, she's denying who she is. Until later in the show, she's like, yeah, I'm Rachel. Sorry, I lied to you. I just wanted to really do this thing by myself. And he's just like, oh, it's cool. I love you. And I think it's explained that Bam likes Rachel because Rachel found Bam in some tunnel. Again, not really explained too much.
Just in a pile of rubble, and then they hung out there for like years or something.
Yeah. But Bam has like a special like, place in his heart, like almost like a motherly love, not like a romantic kind of thing. But anyways, so we see Rachel and like she gets thrown to the ringer and gets like stabbed in the back and like loses her like ability to walk. She's in a wheelchair and Bam's like, no, fuck this. I'm going to get you to the top of this tower. Like your mission is now my mission. And Rachel's like, let's fucking do it. So after having this like wild exam that everybody else agrees to help them kind of do it, Rachel betrays Bam and like pushes him off this like levitating sphere of power and like sends him down to plummet to his death. And then it all rewinds and we find out that like Rachel disappeared to enter the tower and she thought like the tower was calling to her, but it was actually calling to Bam. And she's like super like upset about it. It's like, no, I'm the one that I want to go. And the like the prompter's like, cool, like how about I make a deal with you? Like if you can somehow make it into this fucking tower and somehow kill Bam, I will allow you to actually start climbing the tower. Like because like this tower.
And Rachel's the tower doesn't want you. Motive for everything is really shitty too. Like, I don't know what these other people's motives are. I don't know all of them, but some of them have like pretty strong. Okay, yeah, I understand why you're climbing the tower because you're granted any wish when you get up to the top. But Rachel is like, I want to be popular.
Yeah,
like what?
I want to. Yeah, she's like, I want to see the stars. I'm like, oh, you. But it boils down like, oh, you want to be known and noted and like people like know who you are because. In this world, Rachel, you are not the main character. You are a side character, and Bam is the main character. And I feel like a lot of people learn that. It's like it's almost like to like a point where it's like meta. Like they see Bam and they see how charismatic he is, and they see how powerful he is.
They're like,
and how,
"Fuck, I'm a part of this dude's journey."
Yeah, exactly. They go, fuck, this guy's gonna make it to the top of the tower, and I'm gonna fucking help him get there. And some people like it weighs on them. And they're like, fuck this, like. This can't be it. Like, I can't be a side character in this anime. And they are, absolutely.
But I also feel like, you know what? If you can't be, but you know who the main character is, you're going to be homies with that main character. And you're going to get as far as you can get by helping him out, you know?
Yeah, but the idea might be like, yeah, he's going to get there and you're probably not because you might die along the way. And, knowing that you're not the star of the show. But Rachel, betrays him and like she starts going through the motions of trying to infiltrate her way in the story. And like, she's just biding her way for her time to like, I have to kill him. I have to get around to it. And she eventually betrays him and everybody thinks Bam's dead. All the other members that were there to help Bam and Rachel, continue and try to get Rachel to be allowed to continue the tower, band around her and say, hey, you're Bam's girl. Like, we were here for him. We're his friends. He wanted you to the top of the tower. Our goal is now to get you to the top of the tower. And it's really cool that she's collected like Bam's collected these people, and now these people are all there for her, not knowing what she did.
Yeah.
And they're like, and except for like we did mention that the blue-haired boy that I can't ever remember his name, Kun. I feel like he knows. Like he kind of checks her, like he does like a really sly thing, and she like plays it off very well. But it's just like, I want to feel like he knows that Bam's not dead and like he knows Rachel did something. Because
they should all know. They've seen Bam explode gold Shinsu. And everyone was like, excuse me, what the fuck was that nuclear explosion? And Bam's just like out for a few days after that.
And then like someone finds him and it's like, hey, like, You're still alive. I knew you'd still be alive. All right, let's fucking get you to start climbing that tower. And I think that's cool because, like, I don't know how season 2 is look. You know, I obviously haven't read the webtoons, but I would like to think that Rachel and their crew is going to start ascending. They're going to do the best they can. Hopefully start losing people along the way, because I do like the fact that people do die in the show or also, like, or leave, you know, like,
I could
like
see them killing off, like, Green Dude.
Yeah, and I think that, like, this show will hopefully start doing that, because we're slowly collecting friends and stuff. Like, okay, cool, that guy's got an interesting design, interesting power, and I can see some of them just becoming cannon fodder. So I want them to go away. But I also want to see.
How much would it suck if Normal Guy dies?
Dude, I like Normal Guy. Normal Guy's so just cool. He's like tracksuit, fucking puffy hair. He's got a dagger now, so now he's not too. Now he's Dagger Guy.
Anybody could get a dagger. I have a dagger.
Oh, bro, come on! You're not Dagger Guy. That's Dagger Guy.
Nah, I got my Disneyland dragon dagger, and I'm gonna fucking use it.
You're gonna climb the tower.
Yeah.
But anyways, I think that Bam's gonna also start climbing from the bottom, and, like, along the way start meeting people that he's known. You know. Eventually, I feel like there's gonna be some sort of head coming to, like, Rachel, and, like, finding out that Bam, what he did to Bam, and I don't know. I feel like. I want to say Bam kill Rachel, but he's not going to do it. But that bitch deserves to die, and I hate her. But it was a good show, man. I was, like, I was invested for sure, like, throughout the whole thing.
I can't wait for there to be more.
Yeah, and like I said, like, the fact that, like, I don't get every answer is okay, because, like, it just makes me, like, think more about it and be like, anything can really happen in this show. I hope they don't go too far. I hope they don't, like, push it to a point where I'm just like, no, like, you've done too much, and, like, I'm not, like, I don't believe it anymore. But so far, everything they've done, I'm like the most eccentric thing was that sheep dude had, like, this wacky, super over the top anime powers, but they plastered him, and I was like, yeah, that was fucking dope though. Seeing him just get totally fucked. Good show, man. Fucking bomb outro also, super dope.
Really good show. I'm excited for more, like I said, but clearly the best of the season. Still really liked my continuation of Ascendance of a Bookworm. So 2 out of 4, 1 out of 2. Pretty good, you know? It was a good season. Everything else that we wanted to watch got delayed. So there were at least 3 shows that I was going to watch that got delayed.
Mm-hmm. When you think about it that way, I go like, well, like, you know, it feels like a reduced season. Like, it feels like, you know, because of the state of the world and stuff, I understand there not being as much anime, so I can't really, like, I'm not upset about it. I'm glad I'm glad that Tower of God kept going. I'm even happy that I was able to watch Gleipnir, like, it finished, because I was really excited to watch that fucking Wacky Races show. I was like, this looks interesting.
Ranman's going to be dope. Hopefully that'll continue here. I don't really know what's to come with a lot of the shows that were put on hiatus, but, like, Kyle, our homie Kyle, big homie Kyle, was asking, like, okay, so is this next season going to be, like, crazy packed? Because we had a lot of shows delayed that will now be joining us this season. But then we also had a lot of shows get delayed that would have been airing this season too. Everything got set back. Yeah, eventually we're going to get corrected, but, like, yeah, we'll get to a shit ton of anime soon. For now, watch BNA. We're going to review that
eventually.
You know, I would say next week, but Anime Expo Light. You know what? Fuck it. Anime Expo Light's going to be an in-between episode. How about that?
Oh, come on, Trip. Fine, we'll do whatever Trip wants to do.
All right.
Anyways, that was the wrap up. Like we said, we don't know what next season of anime is going to look like. If it is, here's my thing. If it is super packed, like if they start, like, throwing everything at us at once, I say maybe we do, like, a wrap up, like a pseudo wrap up of stuff that would have been done, you know, this season, and then the actual wrap up of the actual season, just to kind of separate the two. Because I don't feel like sitting here for several hours going through all the stuff that should have already been done, you know.
Yeah, we can instead be like, all right, these are all the ones that are airing still. Go back and listen to our other episode.
Yeah. Absolutely. Cool, man. Well, that's the show. If you like our logo, hit up AaronVenturiTops.com. Fuck, I'm back on it.
You know what, man?
If you like our theme song, check out Tom Nasser on SoundCloud and YouTube. Trip, where can people find us?
You can find us on Facebook. Look up the Instagram Podcast. Same thing goes for Instagram. Look up the Instagram Mom and Podcast. That's the one. You can tweet at us at InstaRamenPod, and if you want to send us a tweet, if you want to send us an email, it's ramenpodcast@gmail.com. Dude, I'm thrown off too. Hey, if you like listening to us on wherever you listen to us, you could find us on anywhere else you want to listen to us, pretty much. I had somebody on YouTube ask, hey, I found you guys and I'm into it, but like, is there anywhere else to listen to you? Yeah, Spotify, Google, iTunes, goddamn, wherever the fuck.
Podbean,
yeah, wherever the fuck you want to listen to us. We pretty much exist on wherever you find your podcasts. So thank you guys so much for listening. Hopefully you check out Tower of God. Maybe you send us a Bookworm, totally worth checking out.
Yeah. So I'm excited for whatever the future holds, Trip. This is bye
I'm
from
excited
Juan.
for your future. This is bye from Chris.
Hey, Trip, don't forget.
I love you.